All right, and welcome back to Blood Right. This is episode 2 of Chalice of Light. And last session, where we left off, the group had entered into the world of fire beneath the city of Stormloft, specifically beneath the castle Stormloft. Um, they had learned a bit about the mysteries of this place, trying to basically gain their ground, find their bearings, and understand a bit about the world. Boo went down a specific path by himself. In that path, he met with a strange golden dragon, and beyond that, saw an essence of judgment, defeated it with his sheer willpower, and acquired a platinum or mithril bow and a single white arrow. Hawk and Cardiff continued down a path in the center of these strange floating islands in a sea of flame, and found their way to a strange shrine with a suit of white armor. Upon taking it and putting it on, they were assaulted by flame elementals, which seemed to melt the ice-like armor that Hawk now wore. The two escaped through a strange door in one of the pillars near the shrine, and began walking down a path to meet up um, with Boo. And that's where we'll be starting. But we also want to pay attention to what's going on the third path. Malik and Zelbor walked down that path and found a strange temple. Inside of that temple was a very foul fiend indeed, a kraken that assaulted the two and did quite a bit of damage to Zelbor and continued to demand the sword that Zelbor held, the sword he pulled from the amulet, a fragment, they think, of the Sword of Ultimate Sorcery. And where we left off with him, just so you remember, the Kraken had him in his grasp. It was still the Kraken's turn, and he said, "The sword or die." We'll cut from there, just like we did last time, and leave them hanging, all on tenterhooks. And we'll go and discuss Boo and Hawk and Cardiff. As you guys approach, as mentioned, Boo, you recognize the armor from the figment that you saw in the Orb of Darkness, that strange white form with sword and hammer. It's Hawk in the armor, but the armor does look exactly the same. And as they approach, you see Cardiff's belt area start to just burst into flames. A huge just gout of fire just bursts out from him, and he gives out a stereotypical Cardiffian, "Oh no!" And as he kind of moves away from the fire. It seems to kind of dart out at Hawk a bit, but then you see it all kind of suck back in towards his belt loop, but so does Cardiff. And he seems to just be kind of vortexed into his own belt pouch. You then see that only one thing of him remains, and it falls down onto the path near Hawk, the leyline mirror.
Well, on the bright side, guys, we don't have to kill him anymore.
Were we planning that? Did I miss something?
That one girl told us to kill him. Don't you remember?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I wasn't gonna kill him.
So Hawk and Boo are reunited on this path. Boo, you would know that you can't ascend up the path that they're coming down, based on what you're seeing from the amulet. The winds seem to be favorable to Hawk and Hawk alone.
I will wait for him to approach me then.
Okay, and Hawk, you stand there, the leyline mirror laying on the ground near you.
I would pick it up and not look at it and put it in my sack.
Okay. All right, and then?
I would approach and describe what happens to me and ask what happened to him. And what of the others?
Well, I befriended a dragon, and I met our friend the judge. Once again, he was lovely. I have not seen either the other two, Zell and Mel.
So I would point back the way we came and said that way leads to the fire elemental, so we don't want to go that way. I'd where is there a map we can look at, or just tell us which directions we haven't gone yet?
Sure. So the path here. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and see if we can't drop you onto something. Doo-doo-doo. There you go.
Okay. So have we been to this place before?
You have not. Boo. This is where Boo recovered the bow and arrow.
And the bow is in the middle, but on this.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And the way that we came from was the way to the right?
The way that you came from is that path.
Right, the elementals. And then which way, Boo, was the judge?
This is where the judge was.
This is where the judge was. I interacted with the judge here and got the bow.
Okay, and where was the dragon?
The dragon was down, or south.
And then these other paths look like some of them are blocked?
There's a north
Well,
path.
it's blocked for me. I can only go paths that correspond with my color. Whereas you, with that armor, can go down any path.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking. There seem like there's some boulders in some of
Oh,
these.
those aren't paths. If you kind of zoom out a bit, you'll actually see that they're just boulders sitting on the edges of the island.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
there's a north and south and east and a west path.
Yeah.
And what are the colors of the north and east path?
Sure. So when you kind of look towards the winds, you would see that south is red, north is red. No, sorry, south is red, north is purple, west is red, and then east is purple. Basically,
one more time.
It'll go west red, north purple, west or east purple, south red.
So I can only travel down the west path. You have access to all four.
Yep.
So it's up to you whether you would like to continue joining me. I am perfectly happy on my own.
I know you are. So you've already been down the south path, right?
Correct. And that's where the dragon was.
Right. So let's go together down the west path.
Works for me.
Okay.
You're the boss.
You guys start to walk down that path. Let's see here. As you guys start to walk down it, you kind of exit out into the world of flame. The flames don't dance out to take you down. And you see that the island up ahead looks like it is set with two paths that leave it. And it looks like there are 4 rising pillars coming up out of the island. On the back end of the island, away from where you're approaching it, there appears to be kind of a raised section. And it looks like it's kind of like a dais or maybe like a high fane for like a church, but just set out here in the middle of nowhere in the sky. And when you first kind of get close to where you would transgress over the basically the lead up to it, the end of your path onto the island, you see that there's a grate of metal kind of set in the stone, where the stone of unworked nature of the path that you're walking on kind of starts turning into tiled work path of the island. The island seems to be covered with tiles.
So the only thing that we see of interest is that grate?
Looking up ahead further, you see that there are 4 pillars that rise up out of the island. In the center of the island is a bunch of mosaic in the stonework. It looks like the main image that you're seeing in the mosaic is a large scarab beetle with wings extended. In the center of the scarab beetle, its back is a circular metal grate. And then the large dais that's opposed from you, that looks like it's raised up over kind of an empty expanse underneath it. There are 2 stairways up to it, and there is an altar with candles lit up on that high fane. And I'll go ahead and pull you to a map so you can see what I'm talking about.
Sure. Do the pillars look like the pillars where the elementals were that led to another place? larger.
Yeah, these look like they're stone pillars, and at the tops of them, kind of looking up, you can see it looks like there's kind of braziers up at the top, lit and kind of flickering flame.
So,
Do we
Hawk,
recognize
go ahead.
this scarab image? Is it notable?
Go ahead and make a religion check if you're trying. A religion intelligence if you're trying to kind of figure out what it might be.
Or does it have any historical significance?
Not so much historical, no.
It is Kafufu, the fly of fortune.
I'm almost tempted to rename what it was to that.
Pretty awesome.
Just basically because that is pretty great.
Ow.
You're looking at it, and it doesn't really seem to hold any significance for you. But as you're kind of sitting there, you do hear kind of a sound kind of coming over the flame. It sounds like a lot of small things kind of threshing together.
Oh boy, that does not sound good. Do we see anything flying up from the grates?
No, but you see that underneath the fane, it looks like the island itself has like a pit underneath the fane. The fane is like lifted up over the this pit.
Oh boy. So I think we should stay away from those grates, but I am interested in the altar. How about you?
Yeah, me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna head up to the altar, trying to
Okay.
avoid the crates. Or
As
grates.
you walk up to the steps and kind of move towards them, you kind of look down into the pit because your eyes are just kind of drawn to it. And inside of the pit, you see what looks like thousands, possibly millions, of scarab beetles just kind of threshing about inside of there, kind of roiling about. And every so often, you see them move and kind of uncover the ground beneath them. And what you can see is that there are bodies set underneath them that appear to have been kind of like ripped into small bits, and it looks like they're moving parts of the bodies around in like tiny balls inside of the
That's lovely.
underneath.
All
Basically,
right, hold on a second. Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say like dung beetles, but
Mhm.
like instead of dung, they're moving like balls of flesh and sick.
That's so gross. How big are the scarabs?
I would say, I mean, probably maybe 2 inches long, and maybe
Okay.
yeah, they're not huge.
Okay, well, really quickly. So you avoided the grate. So you altered course to avoid the grate so that you could get up to the great altar.
That's exactly right.
Top form, inspiration. Amazing. But yeah, you guys kind of move and look down into it. You see that the pit underneath the altar does appear to have just uncountable numbers of these scarab beetles just kind of threshing about, and it looks like there's something underneath, specifically bodies, that they're tearing asunder and moving about.
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay, what is down? Is there anything? I'm gonna actually like take a peek down the grate as I walk by.
Sure.
See if
So
there's anything like down this thing.
you come to very quick realization that the top layer of this island that you're on seems to be set above kind of a network of sewer parts, and it seems that it's, from what you can hear and from what you can see of the shining kind of moving across the tops of their bodies, underneath, probably about 5 feet down, just like in the pit 5 feet down, there are just scarab beetles moving about.
So I'm going to move one step forward off of the grate, and I'm just going to sort of stay put because I think that Boo is probably a little bit more dexterous than me, and so I don't want to screw anything up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess I'll approach the altar.
Okay. If you go up to the top, you would see that the altar, at its base, there are skulls. I'm echoing through somebody. Okay, never mind. Not anymore. There are skulls kind of lining around the foot of the altar, and there are a total of 7 candles, mainly highlighting 3 in the middle, and there appears to be a symbol etched into the top layer of the altar. It appears to be another scarab beetle. This one's wings are closed, or down, or out. They're inside of its shell.
I will relay that to Hawk.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really help me. I mean, I'm just thinking about Egyptian, but that's not this world, so
Um, So there is the scarab like carved into the table that I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's basically the altar is kind of like 4 feet high or 3 feet high, desk height, and set in it is a carving of a scarab beetle. Yeah, um, this one's a bit bigger than like a regular scarab beetle, but it's kind of like an indentation. Like if you were to take something and set it in there, it would set perfectly,
Okay.
like a cast mold. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will also relay that to Hawk and see if he sees anything like in the pillars that might be able
Yeah,
to.
so let me check those out.
Okay. The pillars seem to be kind of etched with markings from the base to the top. It looks like they kind of go up in helix patterns up the entirety of the length. And at the top, you can see that there are copper braziers set at the top that seem to kind of flickering flame. You can see these better from the distance as you kind of walked up to the island. Um, the markings look very similar to the markings that were on the ring. Um, where you first entered, the one with the shadow veil that you passed through.
The ring. The
Remember
ring.
when you saw the arcane marks on the ring, the first
Mhm.
entrance, and it kind of had a weird spelling to it, and they
Mhm.
thought it might say something? These glyphs look like very similar to those.
Oh,
The
okay.
markings of wizards. Okay, and Boo, one last question for you, just to see if anything kind of touches off. Do you touch anything that's on the altar?
If he doesn't see anything that might fit into the scarab, then Boo, being his thoughtful, sensical self, is gonna like trace the outline of the scarab with his finger
Okay.
because just see what happens if anything like lights up.
Nothing crazy happens.
Okay.
Um, you would kind of look down at it, and upon kind of closer inspection of the altar, you would see that the scarab beetle um, form as you're looking at it with your true sight. Um, Something I always continue to forget. You would notice that it has kind of a gleam to it that's magical. Being an arcanist, knowing a bit about arcana, you kind of detect it as kind of a triggering mechanism. If something is placed inside of it, it might activate something. The 7 candles appear to be magical, but their magic seems to just be a minor enchantment. Nothing like there's no activation trigger or anything like that.
Like a continuous flame type of
A
thing.
continuous candle, yeah. You've had one attached to Mel's head before.
So the indentation of the beetle is larger than the actual beetles that are crawling around under the grate, yes?
Correct.
So we don't necessarily need to put one of the live beetles into the indentation.
Yeah.
Although,
Which
you
one
know,
would you
it's,
choose? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack or a single beetle in a bunch of beetles. Then there's the skulls around the base, and from your sight, it does seem like there's kind of some sort of energy to them, but you think that's just lingering. You don't think that's actually like an enchantment. You think at one point they were enchanted or they were magical. You're not sure if that can be reactivated or not, but based on just what you can see, it seems to be a sort of necromantic magic on the skulls, and the grates glow. From this vantage point, you can see that they kind of have a shimmer shine to them that seems to be a strengthening abjuration magic, a warding, if you will.
okay, and there are exits to the east and the west.
Hmm.
What color are those exits?
Sure. So you would see that the exits from this one are both blue. It would seem to, with your true sight, that behind the altar, you can kind of see it on the map, but just barely. There appears to be kind of like a back wall kind of area to it. It's kind of just a single back wall that's about 20 feet long, but it doesn't really go off into anything. But your sight detects that there's actually a door inside of that black wall.
Oh, that's the thing.
The door is not opened. It seems that
Right.
there's something that needs to open it.
And there's nothing under the altar or else on like this platform that looks like it might fit that little scarab thingy.
Nothing else. No, the altar is solid stone, and Yeah, the only thing that you can think of is that there needs to be some scarab-shaped object that's placed here.
Yeah, so I'm guessing we need to go to another section to retrieve the scarab-shaped object and place it here.
So Andy in the armor can continue in any direction that he wants. The only point of exit for you at this stage is back the way you came.
Right. So I'm asking Andy if he wants to take a trip left or right, and I will just kind of chill her.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, Blue, is that the phlegm, and is that Malik?
Blue would be, from what you were kind of trying to think about humorism-wise, what someone said, yeah, it was Mel. Mel is Blue.
Okay. So let's just go to the left.
Left. It is. Okay. Bear with me here. All right, Boo. You kind of see him start to walk away and head down that path. And the flames kind of lick up behind him and kind of make him go away from your vision. We're going to go ahead and cut from you guys real quick and go to where the fun is at. You've had plenty of time to think about it there, Matt. And I'm going to put you on the spot. So, in fact, I'm going to put you on the spot, like right here, where I have you. And my question to you remains: the sword or die? Not really a question. I guess more of a an asshole thing. But like, so, are you dropping the sword? Are you relinquishing it, or are you maintaining it, or do you want to? It kind of seems like he's leaving it open for you to take an action here. He's not just interjecting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm still sort of thinking, like, what part of "fuck you" did he not understand when I said it originally?
But it does kind of seem like he's leaving himself open here. I want you to go ahead and make me an Arcana check real quick to try Intelligence Arcana, actually Wisdom Arcana. Sorry, and this is to kind of try and detect what or why he isn't just obliterating you and taking it from you.
All right, 20. Oh, sorry. Did I accidentally roll to myself?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I just was dealing with a cat.
Yeah, sorry. I sometimes do that when I'm testing things out. So
No problem. 24 is good enough. So you would realize that the only reason that something would not just batter and bash you down and take what it wants from you is because there seems to be some sort of necessity for you to relinquish it if he is going to attain it. It has to be given. It can't just be taken. You remember how you got it.
right.
So
Huh. Um. Yeah, I mean, would I have time to cast a spell? I should ask.
you are currently grappled, but as we discussed last time, and restrained even, but as we discussed last session, that does not inhibit you from casting spells.
Right. And I'm guessing I don't have any indication as to which direction
So
I should go.
you would know that the only direction that you're 100% certain that you can go down is the one
Down
to the
is
south.
Right.
Could take a chance though. You also know that there's one that you cannot go down for certain, and that's the one that Mel's standing outside of.
Well, yeah, I'm going to.
That actually leaves what? 2 more paths?
That leaves a 50% chance.
Yep. Well,
But I'm currently sitting at 5 health.
yeah, man. Like, well,
So I do not feel like risking that.
All right.
So I'm just going to again say answer stays the same and go back to the original path as far as I can without.
Okay. You zip back down the path, Okay. At that stage, Malik would see you kind of disappear and vanish. Malik, you see the Kraken kind of like its looming eye kind of turn and look in your direction, and it says, it just kind of openly says, "If I cannot have the sword, I will have you." Looks like it's ready to fight you.
How you doing on hit points, Malik?
Oh, I'm doing actually really well. It was beating up on
Okay.
you and not me. But I saw him disappear, so I'm figuring he's dimension doored. I'd like to get the hell out of there.
You have two options. You can try and run past the Kraken and try and chase down where you presume Zell went to, or you can go down the path that you're currently standing at the entrance to, which is the safest route.
Right. The problem is I don't know if I can even go down the route across from him.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No. What I'm saying is he teleported south, the path you both came down.
Oh, right.
You are standing at the entrance to a path that you know you could go down because you went down it and then had to turn around and come back because Zell was pushed back. So you know Zell teleported and has not been returned to the room, so you presume that he went south.
Right. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'd really like to stick with Zell, but I'm trying to be safe and just go. I don't want to go too far where I can't see him. I want to be able to like look, like I want to go down my path a ways, but be able to look back and not have him reach
Okay.
me. So maybe like another.
If you go down your
like
path a
40
certain
feet.
if you go down your path a certain distance, the flames kind of lick up behind you, and you can hardly see the temple any longer as you continue down the path.
Son of a bitch. If I come back, can I get to a point where I can see into the room?
Yeah, the flames will kind of dissipate if you keep on bobbling back. But when you come back the second time, the Kraken will have basically returned back into its hold.
Ooh, that is interesting. All right, if that's
You
the
remember
case,
it also zipped out of that really fast. The second thing started to enter into the temple itself.
right.
Yeah,
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to peek around the corner and see if I would be able to see Zell and say, Zell, are you down there?
From that position, you're not able to. You would have to step foot into the water to actually be able to.
I'm going to go, Zell, are you down there?
You don't hear any reply.
Okay, son of a bitch. I don't really want to
I'm
go
assuming
down
you went
there.
as far as you could down that path, right? Matt, Zelbor teleported as far as he could down
far
that
as
You're
far
like-
as possible.
You're like 500 feet down that road, because the roads aren't short, by the way. They're not. It takes some bit of walking. So yeah, you teleported as far as you could. But,
All right, I'm going to assume he's safe then and head down my direction.
Okay, perfect.
Unfortunately, he accidentally teleported into another Kraken and is now dead.
Because there are two Krakens. No, there are not two Krakens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and deal with Malik first. Malik, you walk down your path. And as you kind of come to a point of exit, you see something very strange. You see kind of an island that seems to be made out of smoke. Rising up from the island are 6 pillars and this strange shrine made of stone. The stone seems to be kind of like charcoal black, but you can tell it's like bricks of stone. Everything seems to be covered with this blackened ash, but the 6 pillars that rise up out of the smoke or smog seem to be kind of gleaming with a bit of white light. I'll go ahead and pull you to that one there. Bear with me.
Strange.
Do you see the map?
Yep.
Okay, let me just get you a token on there. Hold on.
I could tell you what. The first thing I would do when I see creatures of elemental fire.
Oh,
like
there's 5 of them just standing up on the altar. It doesn't seem they're like looking at anything. It seems that they're just kind of actually, they're not just staying stationary. They're actually moving in a ring circle, just kind of around on the shrine.
I would be like, screw this, I'm going back to the Kraken.
You'd also,
This is fire. I hate this shit.
you'd also go ahead and make me an Arcana, or not Arcana. I'm sorry, Wisdom Perception check.
Okay, maybe I'll see something really cool. Nope.
It's good enough. The on the left side, there's a pillar. There seems to be a small door on the pillar that's actually just left ajar, and there seems to be a bit of fire licking out of the pillar.
Ooh, that looks promising. Okay, well,
You now notice that there's a door like this on all 6 of the pillars.
okay. Oh man, I hate to do this. All right, I'm going to run to the closest one and jump in the door, like as quick as possible.
Left or right?
Dash. Let's pick this one.
I can't see where you're paying it. Left or right?
Right. My right.
Okay. So you move towards that door, you open it up, and you kind of like step into it. And once you do, you look out and you see the Kraken Temple. And it looks like the fire is actually breaching off of the path, and it'll allow you to pass. But the Kraken Temple looks like it's some 500 feet ahead of you.
Crap. You know what? I'm going to go through it to hope I meet up with Zell somehow. Like it's the path that we were on before, right?
No. So
I don't see the path? Okay.
You actually walk down this path, and it feels very familiar. When you get to the end of it, you are exactly where you left off before. You are exactly in the same spot that you were before. The entrance on the western side of the Kraken Temple.
Okay. In that case, I'd go back and try another one.
Okay. When you go back, you end up right where we talked, but you're not exiting out of the pillar. You're coming in from the south side of that island.
Okay, I go to try the left closest one this time. Hopefully that one is...
When you open up this door, on the left side, flames just start to lick out at you and just burst about, and it doesn't seem that this is a path that you can go.
Oh, crap. All right, then I would
The flame elementals are still just kind of marching around in a circle. It doesn't look like they're doing anything to it.
I'd move up there and jump in real quick in the door,
Which
or
one?
if possible.
The one on the left middle?
Yeah, left middle.
That door, you open it up, and it is not a path that you can go down. It's flames. Do you move towards the last one on the left side?
No, I'm gonna bump over here. I'm zigging and zagging. This
Okay.
is crazy.
If you're bouncing from each door to door, you eventually realize that the door on the right left or the right bottom is something that you can enter into. That's the one where when you went into it, you went back to the Kraken Temple. And the one in the top left is another path that you can go down. This one is new to you. When you open it up, it looks like there is a strange island with 4 pillars rising up out of it with metal braziers at their tops.
All right, let's try that.
Okay, you start heading down that way. Let's go back to these guys on the other side. You guys march down the left path on the Scarab Island, correct?
Just Hawk.
Just Hawk. Who's staying on the Scarab Island?
He couldn't leave in those
right.
blue pathways.
Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about Hawk then. You marched down the west path, so that'll take you to that one. All right. You come to find a large, just open well. In the center of the well, or fountain rather, is a statue of a Vazriel king with shield and sword, and he looks very familiar to you.
Does it look like me?
He looks exactly like you. There are actually 3 trees in this place that are kind of rising up out of the ground, and there does look like there are a total of 4 paths. 2 paths are on the southern side. 1 path, very narrow and crumbling, is on the eastern side, and there appears to be a path to the north. The fountain itself, as you kind of move towards it and kind of look in, looks like it's constructed out of stone, but it looks like there are a bunch of copper coins in the base of this fountain.
Looking over at the coins, anything interesting about them?
Make a intelligence history check.
Great.
They all have the face of Zelbor on them.
They all are Zelbor coins.
Ah!
It's pretty bad.
I know nothing.
Anything that you want to do before we say what that roll is about? I know you spent some lucky points last time, but...
Yes,
you know what? No, wait.
Hold on a second.
Hold on. I was going to say, you don't have to spend lucky. I can give you my inspiration.
He just got inspiration, that's true. Do you want to let him do that?
I'm going to
Heck yeah.
going to give you my inspiration.
So you do look at the coins, and you notice that the minting of the coins
Thank you.
is very similar to some of the coins that Jonathan Hopler had in his Vazriel museum. They appear to be old Vazriel coins. You do notice that there is some sort of prints on the coin from what you can see in the water, but because the water is kind of moving a little bit because of the heat, you really can't tell like the details of it. You'd have to pull the coin out of the water to be able to look at it. And then a Kraken comes out.
Exactly. Okay, so let's reach in and grab a coin.
Kraken comes out and kills Zelbor. Wait, what?
How the hell? I'll find you wherever you live. You pull out the coin. You look at it. The facade of it looks very similar to Zelbor, but without horns. There are Vazriel markings on it, and it does look like it has a minting, but it looks like the Vazriels didn't have mints. They had people who made the coins and put them out into circulation. So each one that you kind of look at is a little bit different.
Also, their Holiday Inns were very depressing at night because you didn't get the mint.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also true.
Okay, so anything of interest and the statue itself. So what I'm really looking for is something that might fit into that scarab shape.
Okay. Doesn't appear to be anything here, but you have the coin in your hand. There's the fountain. There's the 3 trees and the 3 other paths besides the one you entered in.
So the 3 other paths. Let's see. So you said that there's one to the east.
There's one to the east, very narrow and breaking.
Mhm.
There's 2 to the south. One on the western side, one on the eastern side, as you can see. And then there's a path that is unmarked that leads off the north.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm having trouble seeing the other paths.
Just zoom out.
Oh, I could see it actually better when I can't zoom out any further. I could see it better when I'm looking at Twitch. Yeah, because it seems stranger, I'll go for that narrow eastern path. You know, actually, could I check the trees first? Is there anything interesting about the trees?
The trees kind of have this strange kind of shimmer to them, like a bluish air around them. And as you kind of like look in closer, and kind of you just kind of to inspect it, not touching it or anything, because that's crazy talk. But it does feel like there's a certain coolness about the trees, like they're surrounded by kind of a mist or like water.
Okay.
Other than that, they look like normal trees, no markings or anything like that.
Okay, let's go down the eastern path then.
You walk over to the eastern path. It looks crumbly. Hold on a second here. Crumbly path. We are on understanding. This would be... As you kind of march towards it, the armor starts to kind of shine brightly around you, and the path actually just falls away.
Uh-ohs. No.
No, not out from underneath you. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I thought before you start marching down, it falls away.
Okay. So what does that mean?
Great question.
So I can't go that way.
The path, the entirety of the 500 or so feet of the rock that you can see ahead of you, just starts falling into the fire.
Okay, so that's not the way to go. Okay. So there's another path to the south that I'm missing?
Yep. As you turn away from that path, you hear this strange stone-like kind of grinding sound. And when you look back at the path, you see that it's reshaping itself. The stones actually come out of the fire and kind of set themselves back into this rigid kind of just path.
Jerk.
It's about the same sturdiness, and you're a bit confused. You walk back towards it.
Yeah.
It falls down again.
Can I keep going?
No, it breaks down again. Every time you approach it, it breaks.
I'm guessing it's not for you.
It's like one of those sensors. You have to be invisible to pass it. I don't know.
Yep. So let's try the south path then. Which way is that? Can you ping it for me? Because I'm having trouble on my map.
There are 2 south paths. If you actually look at the dirt of it, there are 2, like it's like a ring around the well, and then there are 2 paths that segment off of it. So you're taking the other south path. Let's see. That is east. That is north. Or no, that's south 1, south 2, north. Got it. So you are... Okay. You walk down this path for quite a while, and we'll get back to you here in a bit. Let's go back to these cool kids. Zelbor. No, not Zelbor. Yeah, let's do Zelbor. Zelbor, you appear on your thing. You walk away from this shit, right?
I'm going to actually try taking about a minute to just continually cast a first level healing word on myself.
You're back at full health.
Ow.
The sword gleams every time you cast the spell,
Ooh.
and you're just kind of like...
Sweet.
Yeah, you're back at full health.
Yep, don't have to expend hit dice right now. Okay. Oh,
You're
gosh.
currently on the
So-
space between the what you would know is the space between the temple with the kraken and the small island with the yellow bile pits.
Right. So, my plan, now that I am back at full health, is I'm going to walk down the path some
Mhm.
towards the Kraken Temple, not go all the way, but
Okay.
go down a bit. And John, can I actually ask you to roll me 100-sided die?
Sure.
Ooh,
I like rolling dice for no reason.
get John involved.
39.
39. I am going to dimension door straight north to the other side and hope that I can actually get on the north path.
Perfect. You teleport through the temple. You hear kind of a rumbling kind of pass like underneath your jaunting form, but you appear on the other side and kind of move down the steps or down the steps. Yeah, down the steps and then through on. And yeah, the fire seems to give way for you to allow access.
I keep walking north.
Deal. So you start to kind of wander on to, let's see here. Another kraken. No.
You can't escape.
That's always a kraken. No, this one's actually pretty good.
It's a golden dragon who attacks you instantly.
You
Unless
see,
you're Boo.
you see another temple ahead of you, but this one is much smaller in shape. It looks like it kind of has about 10-foot like square, 10-foot high square exterior, and then it has a pyramid top that kind of has a flat top to it. And set on top of the flat top is a copper brazier or bronze brazier with fire kind of licking off the top. The pyramid itself, the exterior is solid black, jet black, and it looks like there is a entry path. The stone that you're walking on seems to give way to worked tile, and as you kind of look into the temple, you see that the entirety of this chamber is covered with worked tile. Directly in front of you is a statue of a warrior with a sword and shield. The visage of it looks very similar to Hawk, facial feature-wise. You would see that there are a couple of pillars that kind of rise up to the ceiling of this pyramid. When you go kind of look into it, you would see that the roof seems to be kind of vaulted, as you'd expect on the interior of a pyramid. But besides the statue and the pillars, around the statue there are four small braziers, and on the outsides of the chamber there are four altars, or yeah, basically altars with candle segments sitting there on the altars, and just a drape of cloth set over top of them.
Sorry, and the altars are on the walls of the temple or right by the statue? I missed.
Yeah, if you look at the map, you should be pulled to it.
Sorry, I was writing stuff down. Okay, yeah,
No
I
problem.
see.
Yep, you'd see that there's four shrines, four altars off to the sides.
Gotcha. And you said there's cloth on them.
Yeah, the cloths look like they have symbols on them. The symbols that are on those ones are not accurate, but you kind of see the symbols and recognize them. They're not they're not terribly unfamiliar to your group. One is a dragon from its top looking down. One is a hawk or a raven top looking down. The other is a six-eyed beholder, and the other is a six-headed serpent.
Right.
The gods of the Bazrael.
Right, these guys. I wish the smart one was here. All right.
Wait, you are the smart one.
That's what you think. I've only got a +1 intelligence.
Yeah, but you act it real well.
Do me a favor and just make me a wisdom perception check. We're going to cover a couple of highlights here just so we can kind of see if you get them. Yeah, so what I've explained about the room pretty much is it. None of the candles on the altars are lit, and there are 4 small, like braziers, almost candlesticks themselves, in their like smallness with a bit of wax set in them. It looks
Right.
like they're surrounding the statue.
All right. Well, I'm first just going to walk into the room.
Okay.
Because
A kraken comes.
I was thinking that the statue was just going to come to life and stab me through the eye or something.
Doesn't happen. You do actually notice, though, that there is a difference in temperature in here. It's a bit chillier compared to outside. You'd also notice that there seems to be kind of a sense of like audio in this room, like being acoustically minded. It seems that there's a strong like kind of acoustic nature to the room, like it will amplify your, you know, instruments or music. You'd also notice that there seems to be kind of a light, kind of just almost gentle song just emanating in the room. It's barely noticeable to the ear, but for you, it's very clear. It seems like the song that's being played is an older song, but kind of an old familiar tune.
Hello, is it me you're looking
It's Adele.
for?
It was Adele the whole time.
Okay. Dang it. I am trying to remember which one of the Mazriel gods lines up with which one of the different, like, humors. Do I actually have that somewhere in here?
It was red for fire, the red dragon for fire, the beholder for water, the raven for air, and the hydra for earth.
Right. So I guess since I am, if I remember correctly, red, I'm going to go over to the dragon
Okay.
altar.
Looks like there's 2 kind of like candlesticks sitting there on the side of it. The draped cloth there present. It doesn't look like there's anything else.
Right. Is the are the dang it, what are they called?
You hear a loud
The things
clink.
where-
Sorry, apologies. You hear a loud clink of stone and glass, and when you kind of look back towards the door, you see your red orb kind of cycle in and just start orbiting around your head. And you kind of think about it for a second, and in the heat of everything that happened, you're pretty sure that it was still stuck on that kraken. And now that you're thinking about it, it's returned to you.
Oh.
You never saw it go to it and weren't really paying attention to it, but you're pretty sure that's where it was.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Fucking kraken. Dang it, the only sorry, are the things around the statue, which names I am completely blanking on, and I have in my notes, are the braziers. Like, do they have any torches that are lit or anything, or is it just...
There is no fire in this chamber at all.
Didn't think so. And the only fire spell I have is either Hellish Rebuke, which I can use as a reaction, or...
You can bring in some from outside.
That's true. I was thinking of just casting Fireball on the altar, though.
It's like dying of dehydration out at sea, but like I need to light something on fire in a world made out of fire.
As I said, I could always just cast Fireball on the altar.
Sure, if you want. It doesn't matter. Like it's not like you're wasting a spell slot.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I am going to actually... Hold on a second. What useless thing do I have with me right now? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take my broom and see if I can stick that in the fire and catch it on fire, because I still have that fucking thing.
Once you get outside and kind of start lifting it up and kind of moving it around into the world, the top of it ignites like a torch.
I'm going to go back inside and light the candles at the dragon altar.
Okay.
'Cause...
the second you do, the room kind of starts to kind of like hum more with like a more verbose kind of sounding voice that's applied to the music, and it's more of a addition to the just light kind of strumming sound that you heard before, almost like a harp before. Now on top of that, it's oh.
All right, I'm just kind of going to go around and just, not in any particular order right now, light
Like
the rest
those.
of them.
Okay, go ahead and tell me which one's next.
Guess I'll go with the beholder.
Okay, so that'd be water. The second you ignite it, you see the flames in. See, hold on. Bear with me here for a second.
That's fine.
You would see the flames from the dragon go out, and once you light these ones, you hear more of a sound, a bit more medium kind of tone.
Right. So, hold on a second. The dragon was a...
Kind of like a baritone, kind of a deeper voice sound.
Okay, and then beholder was higher.
Yeah, actually, it wouldn't be so much medium. Hold on a second. Yeah, it'd be medium, but low medium, or high pitched medium.
Okay, I'm going to go for the raven next.
So you would light this one, and it would be more of a middle ground, but more towards the deeper, lower voice. So more like a oh. But the other one doesn't go out. So
Okay,
you now have the
something.
beholder and the raven lit.
All right, I'm going to go for the hydra then.
Second, you light these ones. The other two go out, and this one is yeah. It would be. Hold on a second. No, we've got all four lit. Let me just make sure I've got it right. The deepest set would be the raven. The dragon. And then the next deepest would be the raven. The next deepest would be, but going up a higher scale, would be the, oh my god, my brain, right here, hold on. So, dragon, lowest. Next lowest, raven. Second highest pitch would be the raven. No. Oh, sorry. Okay. Here we go. Got it right here.
Dragon, raven, beholder, hydra.
In order of like depth to high pitched, it goes. Sorry. Apologies. Thank you. Okay. Dragon. Dragon, hydra, raven, and then the last one. Beholder. God, I'm good at this. Yeah, I'm the best. So deepest is dragon. Next deepest is hydra. Next deepest is raven, and then highest pitched is beholder.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Okay. If you want to actually go to someone else, I want to see if I can find something in my notes about one of these things. See if I can find a past encounter with the...
Perfectly fine. We'll go ahead and switch back to Malik. And Malik, you are walking along a path, and you see 4 pillars there. It looks like there's a scarab in the center there. You also see a very familiar-looking elf.
Hey, Boo!
It's Boo, Flusus.
Boo and Malik.
Best friends.
Reunited.
Forever.
It feels so good.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh man, I shouldn't have left.
Reunited.
That's all right.
Feels...
You'll catch up with Zell somehow. That's the way it will work.
New best friends.
Zelborg turns invisible.
How come I see Hawk in here?
I haven't taken
But he hasn't moved me off, yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe you showed up too. It'd be like, hey, party
no such
time.
luck.
All right. If I do show up, I would like to go up and see what Boo's up to. You know, talk about what he knows about the room, what the hell all those beetles are doing down there.
Yeah, this wouldn't be too far off of you. You basically just came to the determination that Hawk, you need to go check out that path. And just as he leaves, like maybe a minute or so afterwards, you're kind of looking around, kind of thinking what you can do. You look over and you see a familiar-looking merfolk kind of walking down his path, coming up to you.
Boo! How's it going?
Ah, my blue friend, I see you've made it this way.
Yeah, oh man, you would not believe what happened. Zell almost got killed by a kraken, but he narrowly escaped, and then we got separated, and he went off in another direction, and it was too hard to go through this room. There was like a giant kraken in there, so it's like we were trying to avoid even going in the room, and we just went our separate ways. It was really sad.
That is unfortunate to hear. Is he still alive?
Yeah, as far as I knew, he escaped. So that's what made me feel like it was okay to continue on and see what I could find. I'm hoping I meet up with him somehow.
Well, it seems like this is as far as your path will go. The other two ways are not going to correspond to your purse. So we need to wait for Hawk to hopefully return and retrieve the scarab that I believe fits in this altar here. And I'll gesture to the altar.
Ooh. Could I like look at it real close to study it? See
Yeah.
if I notice anything?
You can make either an intelligence investigation or a intelligence religion.
I will do the intelligence religion because I'm actually trained in religion, so I can do that.
What'd you get?
18. Oh, wait a minute. Did I roll to myself? No, I
No.
don't think so.
Again, just so you guys know, new format. Apologies. If I ask you like what you rolled, I'm probably not in chat, and also we don't have the chat window open for the stream, so it just allows the people to know like what you rolled.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, you would recognize these scarabs as an elvish symbol. There are some elves known as the summer elves who traveled in desert regions. And from what you can tell, it looks like they, from what you recall, rather, you remember that they used scarabs as kind of a protective ward. There was basically protective magic inside of the scarab beetle.
Ooh, I would explain all that to Boo then. And I'd be like, man, I hate the deserts. I do not want to go there. It's not as bad as this plane with all this fire everywhere, but it's bad.
Now we just need to find out if the scarab is here to protect us from what's inside or to protect what's inside from us.
Ooh, good point. Could be either. Would I see that indentation in the wall that looked like it could be a secret door or something?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you
There's no indentation. It's
Yeah.
with my true sight that I can see.
Oh, it's with your truce. Okay.
Basically, what you would see is directly behind the altar, up on that podium. Behind it, it's just fire for as far as you can see. But there is a 20-foot wide, about 10 or 15-foot high, black slab of stone just standing behind the altar. And what Boo had saw earlier is that inside of that, a 10-foot wide door.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess I'll wait. Can we start trying to take a short rest?
Yeah, sure, have at it.
I'm gonna do it.
If Boo's down for a short resty time.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't need a short rest for anything. Like
we didn't get hosed by a kraken.
Short rest, like we're not doing anything. God knows how long Hawk will be.
Yeah.
God knows.
Actually, I don't have a lot that's gonna get replenished with a short rest, but what the heck? It's good to rest sometimes.
Agreed.
Sitting on your laurels.
Yep. Waiting for you.
As you do. Let's go back to Hawk, I guess.
Sure.
Pretty boring spell with these kids.
Yeah, we're just sleeping here.
You nappers. You whippernappers.
I knew you were going there.
No.
Yeah.
You had said that you went from there. Did you leave the place that you were at yet, or no?
I don't remember where I was.
Yeah,
I thought you were taking this south
That's right.
East path.
Oh yeah.
I remember now. And you start
Because
to
the other path kept dropping away.
kind of start to see that your path is actually kind of leading up a bit. And then it kind of levels off, and you see that the island up ahead of you, it's completely made out of solid black smoke. There are 6 pillars rising up from it. There appear to be 5 large flame elementals dancing on a shrine in the center.
What's happening?
I don't know, John.
What?
We can't hear you if you're talking.
What?
Were you saying something?
Am I saying something now?
Were you
were
before?
saying something
I
now,
was.
yes.
Okay, so what I said was, is you walked up to an island. The island appears to be made out of black smoke. There are 6 pillars rising up from it, and a large brick shrine with 5 dancing flame elementals dancing atop it. Let me go ahead and pull you to the map. It may look familiar.
This place again? I'm going to go back the way I came.
The second you kind of step out to it and kind of look to it, you see the flame elementals kind of look at you and stop their dance, and then you turn around and walk away.
Let's get the fuck out.
Okay. When you start to walk back that way, the path seems to be different. You're not walking downhill.
Oh, come on.
You're walking on a straight path, and when you come to the end of it, you find yourself at a very familiar location, a small island with 3 paths that lead from where you're at, and it looks like there are pits of yellow bile all about the center. Welcome back to the beginning, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But you now have a lot of options because you're wearing armor that lets you go whichever direction you want. You would recall that Zelbor and Malik went down the right path. You and Cardiff went down the north path. And Boo went down the path on the west.
Oh, shit. I'm going to turn back around and go back down the path I just came from.
Back to where you went. Same exact spot.
It's the same exact spot. It hasn't changed again.
The flame elementals
Nope.
were dancing, and they stop and kind of look at you as you approach.
Hey, look, it's that guy.
It's that guy again.
Can
He's
we have an
back.
autograph?
Do you wish to kind of do anything here? Or are you staying far enough back that you're not actually approaching the island directly? You dashing?
Able to dash and go down the pathway?
I mean, do you want to try?
Yep.
Okay. The second you start to run, the smoke starts to kind of like encompass your ankles, and you start to sink down a bit, and you feel like you're kind of tethered to the island a bit more than you'd like to be. You can move 30 feet. You cannot dash.
Darn it.
And at that point, you see the flame elementals start to move down. Roll initiative.
Damn it.
And so the tables have turned, and now it's Hawk fucked.
Oh my, how the turntables.
Yuppa, yuppa, yuppa.
It's really good.
Yeah, you might still be okay. Ah, get fucked.
What?
Oh,
You said
word.
you said you were moving, so I need you to move 30 feet towards where you were heading.
So, but hold on a second though. So as I start moving, I notice
The faster you move, the deeper you sink. So as you try to dash,
but if I felt
Right
myself,
there.
as I started to move and I felt myself sinking, wouldn't I would want to stop?
so you would have started to kind of sink into it about 20 feet in. So you can move 20 feet instead of 30 if you feel like that's going to change anything.
Or I could just go back the way I came from.
No, because you said you were dashing towards that location. That action was what will cause you to sink in. It's like I jump into a pool, psych, halfway through jumping in the pool, I stop, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Fuck it. I'm gonna say, okay, so 20 feet.
20 or 30, your choice. Towards the direction that you were headed.
That was the direction he was headed.
So
He said he was heading
5,
towards the
10,
northwest
15,
one,
20,
wasn't he?
25. Wasn't that the one? Which one did we leave from? Was it this one?
No, this one.
I'm sorry, the one that we left from.
The middle
Yeah,
one.
that's what I thought. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can I make it one more?
30 total, yeah, is what I'm saying you can go for.
Okay, that's what I do.
All right, they're going to just straight get to you and beat down City. And I think I can get 3 on you total.
can't believe you didn't want to go and visit Zelbor. I'm hurt.
Yeah, but I would have to go past the Kraken or the Dragon or whatever that was.
You don't know about the Kraken.
I know, it's true.
You know about
Got
that,
it.
though. There's no guarantee he'll be as nice to you as he was to me.
Yeah.
Because I earned his respect, motherfucker.
You can take an opportunity attack with your reaction against that one after it attacks, or you can use your. You can use your sword of answering if you'd like. So we're attacking you 3 times. One's going to attack you and move away. They make 2 attacks each,
You best go.
and you have
26.
huge AC. So I need to roll a 20.
You do.
Yeah. Nice.
You got one.
You're going to take a total of 21 points of fire damage. And then you can reciprocate to any one of those, but they all look like they're in the same state of health. Perfect.
Okay, so how about just this one right here?
Sure. And sort of answering, that'll be a crit. And mine is 26. All right, a solid retort. It'll go to your turn on the initiative. It looks like it's kind of barring itself against you in the door, but you're pretty sure that you could weasel through it if you'd like. However, at the start of your turn, you'll take a total of 10 fire damage because you're standing adjacent to 2 of them.
Weasel it is. Bye.
Isn't he also
Later.
ignited as well?
What's that?
He's also ignited and taking another 5 damage from the touch.
Until a creature takes an action to douse the fire. Yeah, you are on fire. But no, sorry. Last time you got hit by these, you were not on fire. The reason why is because your armor is actually kind of taking on that glistening coloration.
Okay.
I remember why I did this. Thank you, Zach. But yeah, you don't take the extra damage and become ignited. That would be the word I wanted. But your armor does seem to be kind of icy sheen when you get through. As you kind of enter into this one and start to march down that path, you kind of look at your armor and you notice that you were wearing a gauntlet on your sword arm. You're no longer wearing a gauntlet on your sword arm. Your armor doesn't go down at all, but it does appear that a bit of the armor has been taken away from you.
However, your arm does take psychic damage.
And then you take psychic damage, and a kraken is now on your arm. Okay, let's go ahead and cycle around to this one. Will take you back to the judgment spot, but we'll go ahead and deal with Malik and Boo. You guys don't have any exciting activities, right?
Nope. Short rest.
And where did I leave you, Zelbor? You were on the
I
foundation.
have yes. So I am trying to remember my notes are a bit scant on that one.
Oh wait, you're not. I know where you're at. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I have notes here that say that the Hydra killed the Beholders, and the last tribe defeated by the Elves, which I put in parentheses question mark as ravens, was the dragons. So I've got some idea of.
Yeah. Do me a favor.
Order,
Make me either an intelligence history or intelligence arcana, your choice.
Let's see. That was Arcana. It's a 28.
You would actually stop and think about it for a second and pay attention to the song sounds. You see that there is a pattern, and the pattern seems to be kind of cyclical from the tunes that are playing. Because you would know that in kind of I'm not a music guy, but I know that when you're doing like music exercises, you go from like low to high or high to low. I don't know what that's called. I think Zach does that.
Scales? Yeah.
Scales, that's the one.
Doing some scales.
You would recognize that the scales match up with the order of like the seasonal assignments. So it seems that the fire one, which would be summer, relates to kind of like an ending or like a beginning. You're not sure. Then it goes to autumn. Then it goes to spring. Then it goes to. Wait, my brain did a fart. Yeah, it does it right. Only I said it wrong that time. I explained it in the order that it goes, right? It goes from summer, the way you played it, from summer lowest to spring. highest
Right.
pitched.
All right, I'm going to then probably try lighting them in that order,
Okay.
like low to high.
Okay.
Do re mi fa sol la ti fuck.
As you light the altars, the song kind of continues its melody, each additional kind of tune kind of falling in line with the ones before. So you have the deep baritone and then scaling down to the higher pitched tones. Once you have them all ignited, they all dissipate, and the four braziers around the statue ignite. Once it does so, the statue becomes kind of mobile. It takes its sword and sets it into the stone near it, reaches against its chest, and kind of just moves its hand out to you. And in its palm is a strange stone, like amulet or charm. It appears to be in the shape of a scarab beetle.
That's what we want.
Zell, good job.
I'm going to grab that.
As you reach for it, you hear a voice kind of echo through as the music stops suddenly. And it says,
Shit.
"Understand that keeping this will keep you safe from the denizens within."
This will keep you safe from the denizens within.
If you give it to someone, make sure you give it to someone that you wish to show the truest kindness.
Right. Also, is there any other path around for me to traverse?
You're kind of looking around. It doesn't appear that there are any other paths, but it does appear that there are 6 pillars in the room, very narrow pillars, that you didn't first observe. But now that you're kind of looking at them, they're kind of blackish stone, just like the pyramid outside. But there are white glyphs set inside of them that appear to be in the Elvish language. If you go, you speak Elvish, right?
No, but I do cast, and I have not used this spell yet. So I'm very excited.
Do me a favor. You cast it. Do me a favor, though. Make a...
Shoot, wisdom saving throw, right?
No. Make me an intelligence check.
Okay, just straight intelligence check.
Okay.
I'm going to cast luck on that one.
Use luck on
and
that, yeah.
try again. Because I'm not satisfied with an 8. There we go,
Okay.
17.
You remember the last time you cast Comprehend Languages in the last chamber, it did blow your brains out. But as you cast it now, you see the sword shimmer shine, and it seems to not affect you. Take that knowledge as you will.
Sword.
And when you
I cast True Sight on myself.
you cast True Sight on yourself, and it does not rip you apart.
Ooh, nice.
You start to see the world as it stands. It looks like the altars, all of them, appear to have this kind of bluish sheen in front of each one of them that seems to be kind of door-shaped. It seems to be a lingering magic with a trigger mechanism to it. And from what you can detect, the triggering mechanism seems to be determined on 4 of the 6 pillars that are present. The other 2 pillars seem to have lingering magic as well, but you're not sure exactly what they would denote. As you kind of look over these glyphs and markings on it, you see that there are 6 pillars, as you can see. There are 3 on the left, 3 on the right. The 3 on the left, one states beauty. The one in the middle on the left, so this is bottom left. Next one is severity. And then the one at the top says kindness, top left. In the bottom right corner, it says the crown in Elvish. And then the one in the middle on the right side says understanding. And the one at the very top right says the gift. It would seem
Okay,
that saying these words, as you can try, but it would need to be spoken in Elvish, seems to be the activation for what magic you see.
Okay, also, sorry, when I picked up the thing, what did the thing say? I was slightly I was
Sure.
actually voting your channel to someone, so
Oh.
I felt like that's a valid excuse.
Yeah, if they follow it, dude, that gets me 50. I mean, yes, sir. No, but the thing that it said to you, it said, um, uh, this is the, oh man, what did I didn't write it down either. I totally winged it. It said, you caught me. No, it said,
It's okay. I can stream snipe it later from
yeah,
the
it basically
channel.
paraphrased.
I'll
It said,
do
give
that.
it to the person you want to show the greatest kindness. The first part was, this will protect you from the denizens of this place. That's what it was.
This will protect you from the denizens of this place. Okay, so the person or the thing that I want to do right now, I'm going to cast tongues on myself and say the word kindness.
Okay. When you say kindness in this place, the hand closes, and the sword next to it becomes like brittle, and stone starts to break off of it, but the sword remains. So there's now an actual sword made out of white gleaming steel with a white bound handle and a white kind of sword guard and pommel standing next to the statue.
I can dual wield swords
Awesome.
now. Can I try to?
You move over to it and relinquish it from the stone. It's completely light in your hands. It feels like it's mithril or some other just really awesomely light metal in your hand. And you're kind of holding it, and you kind of feel like, you know, it's completely nothing in comparison to the other sword in your hand, but it feels nice. It just
This is where I wish I went College of Valor.
two swords.
No, I don't. I'm fine with it.
I wouldn't have all these cool spells. Oh,
Yeah. Those were great. Okay. And then you said there are like doorways in the pillars.
oh no. Sorry, you used
Or
there are
not.
6 pillars. When you said
Okay, it's just
kindness,
six pillars.
this one is one of the ones that these are the top left and right pillars. These
Right.
ones aren't keyed to the doors, the gleaming doors
Okay.
at the altars. The other 4, which was beauty, severity, um, uh, understanding, and there was one other. What was the other one?
The crown, I think.
Yeah, the crown. Right.
Crown, right.
Those 4 seem to have kind of a access to them.
Okay. I would also, since I've got tongues going right now, just say the gift and see if anything happens.
Sure. When you say the gift, the statue starts to fall away and can brittle and break, and it reveals a suit of black armor, completely solid, just plate armor with no markings on it, no identical markings, but it seems to have like a shimmer shine to it and its solid blackness. It looks
Me want the stat armor.
really ornate and awesome. If you kind of move over to it to like inspect it, it's completely feather light in your hands, and you think you could probably wear it as easily you would be able to don rather, like robes or an outfit aside.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go with this theme of.
Okay, you put on the
Why-
suit of black armor, and you are effectively in plate mail. It is +3 plate mail, but it doesn't feel like when Hawk put on his, he kind of got a sense that he could walk down paths. You don't get that sense. It's not the same in that regard.
Okay. All right, and then I guess, you know what? I'm going to walk through the door that says. Well, actually, I'm going to say the word I'm just going to walk through the door that has beauty on it.
So you move over to the door, like where you can see it with the true sight, and there's no tangible door. There's just aura of a door, and there seems to be a triggering mechanism from what you can tell using Arcana. You need to say something to cause it to open.
Okay, then I'll say beauty, and I'll see if
Okay.
that works, and if it does, walk through.
You say beauty, and a door ignites. Fire rushes out of it for a second. And this path for you
Leads to the Kraken.
the fire dissipates, and it shows you the path that you can lead down. It seems that the path has kind of an upward slant to it, like you're rising up to something.
I'm just going to start walking.
Okay.
See where it takes me.
And then for just dramatic
fuck it.
purposes, you get to the point where you see these fire elementals lashing out of form. looks familiar for a second. It's gleaming in white armor, but you see it dart into a door and just disappear from your sight. And then the flame elementals go back up to the altar and start dancing. We're going to cut from you for a second. We're going to go back to Hawk because the other two are just resting. And are
Also, you said +3 plate mail, right?
plus
So
3
21.
plate. Yep, and it does not need proficiency to be worn.
This is the most armor I've ever had as a character
You're-
ever.
21, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Literally, this is the most any of my characters has ever had in terms of
Back line. Hawk, you kind of rush past the flame elementals, dart into the pillar, and start heading down the path. You can see up ahead the island that you first re-met Boo on, with the stones around the altar. Once you get down to this path, hold on a second.
All right.
You would see that there are the other options available to you.
Yeah, I'll backtrack.
You're going the same way you went before?
Yep.
Okay. So that would get you, let's see, 32 wisdom. Okay. Yep. You go up the north path the way that you and Boo went, and you see Boo and Malik hanging out on an altar.
Beautiful.
Whoa, check out. It's a white knight.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Malik,
it's Hawk.
this is the first time you've actually seen Hawk. He's decked out in
Fooled
really...
ya.
John,
Yep.
your mic's...
Oh, how about now?
Nope, can't hear you.
How about now?
Now.
Yep, can hear you now.
I think it's just the mouse, actually. It's the way I'm holding the mouse button. Okay. But, yeah, you see Hawk, and he's in very awesome, cool regalia. It seems to be missing a gauntlet, and the rest of it, upon closer inspection, you see that some of it looks like it's kind of melted away in bits.
Wow, that's some pretty sweet looking armor, man. Where'd you get it?
I found it.
That's the best kind of armor.
It's
the kind
melting.
you want. Yeah, it does look like you lost a gauntlet.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
All right.
Man, it's good to see you. We're still waiting for Zell, though. We're hoping he stumbles upon us here. Maybe we should stay still.
12 hours later. Where the fuck is Zell?
What's Zell doing? He's like in a fortress or one of those, fortresses you make with magic. He's hanging out.
Zelbor does not know how, but he is suddenly in a game of Team Fortress 2.
Sweet. All right, can we spend hit dice if we're short resting?
If we're going to go a little bit longer with Zell and see how that goes. If he catches up with you, then yes. If he doesn't, then probably yes still. So I would say, yeah, go ahead and do it since you guys are doing nothing. And Zell, you walk up the path, and up ahead you see the island made out of smoke. The fire elementals, they are dancing on the surface there. But as you approach, they stop dancing, and each one of them kind of drops down as if to kneel and kind of lowers its top portion, which would be its head, to bow to you.
Cool.
Make an insight check. Insight perception or insight wisdom.
Hey, I actually am trained in insight. Wow. No, I know nothing. I'm just clueless as to what the fuck are these things.
No idea. You see, there's 6 pillars. The 6 pillars have doors. One of them is probably slammed shut. But yeah.
Well, let's see. Since I literally do not have any idea what the fuck is going on with these, yeah.
Sounds good.
No idea. I'm just going to
You do see that in the midst of their circle, there's another suit of armor, and on the wall there appears to be a single gauntlet, kind of just bolted to the wall, made out of white metal.
I want that.
I mean, what can I tell about the pillars with the true sight thing going on right now?
They have doors in them. The doors appear to move onto an extra space beyond it. It seems that they are pathways into an extra dimensional space beyond.
Okay, after doing the static, I'm just going to book it for the door that I saw someone else go a second ago.
They don't respond. to the damage, they take it. They receive it like they deserve it. They purposely fail the saving throw. They all take the damage and any other effects
And
that. Yep, they're muddled.
they're all stunned for a minute.
Short. But yeah,
Okay.
you hit them and
No more.
you're expecting some kind of like retort or anything as you're darting for the door and kind of like looking as you kind of head towards it, but they just stay. They don't do anything. You want to cast the
Zolo's
spell
got
like
no
10
fucking
more
idea what's
times?
happening. He just did that so that he could run through. Well, he just did that to see if he could stun them and run through. Since he stunned them, he's just running through.
Well, okay, you see that it works, but you see that they're just still just receptive to being defeated.
I'm just.
Okay.
I don't. After the Kraken fight, I don't feel like fighting.
I ain't fighting shit.
Okay.
Which door did you want to go to?
Again, the one that the same person went through, or
Okay.
that I saw the person go through. So
That one on the left side.
second left,
Yeah.
middle left one.
Okay. You open it and fire greets you. Fire that's so dense and hot, it doesn't seem that there's a path beyond for you to traverse. If you inspect all of these doors, the only one that seems to be the doors on the pillars, mind you. The only one that seems to be receptive is the one on the right side in the middle. But upon opening it and looking down, you see the small pyramid temple off down the path, so you know that pathway.
I'm going to go back the way that I.
One more thing. Sorry, you have True Sight up, and nobody who has had True Sight here has had that. But the back wall of the shrine, where that armor gauntlet is placed, there appears to be an outline of a door on that back wall.
Do these guys still seem to be stunned?
They're not, even if they weren't stunned, I'm telling you, they are not going to raise a flame to you.
I'm just tentatively going to start walking towards the door and see if they do anything.
They do nothing.
And if they don't, just keep walking through, and if any of them moves, I'm going to disintegrate them.
Sure. As you approach, like, you kind of get close to them, you can kind of feel the heat kind of rising near you, but it seems that the armor you're wearing kind of defeats the flame. And as you approach the wall, the white armor melts away off of the back wall, and the door actually opens. The best way I can describe the way the door opens is, have you seen Beetlejuice?
Been a long time, but yes.
Remember when they drew the chalk outline and then the bricks kind of just moved to open up a door? That's exactly what happens. The bricks just move to open up a door to you. Beyond is kind of a bright light, and then flame kind of dances for a second, but it seems to allow for you to pass.
Cool. So yeah, I'm going through that door.
Okay. You guys are still just sitting, right?
Yeah.
This is Elbor show.
It is.
I mean, Booze figured he's exhausted all of his paths. There's nothing else to do but to wait for Mel or Zell to like complete his.
Especially since people keep on popping in every now and then again.
Right. Like
Yeah, it's a happen in place.
Zell
Man.
did it. So like, why can't Zell? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You walk along the path. Up ahead, it's not really an island, but just kind of a segment portion of the path. And this kind of gives you more of an idea of like the widening of the paths. Some of them are a bit more narrow than this. Some of them widen open at certain points. But just so you have an idea, it's just stone with some kind of, path-like traffic. Up ahead, you see that there is a stoned kind of plinth, and on top of that is a obelisk that kind of stands up. Typical obelisk with its four sides, made out of black stone, much like the temple that you saw before. But this one appears to have writing on all of the four sides, much in a narrative type story, similar to the pillars that you saw back in the kindness room.
I'm just going to walk up to the pillar and just sort of give it a closer examine before I do anything else.
Okay. North, south, east, or west? Which side do you want to look at first?
Let's look at the east side.
Okay, 1 second. You look at the east side and you kind of start inspecting it. There's a bit of portions on the obelisk where there seems to be a bit of like ash and dust that's covered up the writing a bit, and you can't really see through it. Do you brush it aside to kind of look it over?
Yeah, sure.
As you touch that obelisk, it kind of like beams with a bit of light. The top becomes bright white, and a lance of yellow light just darts out from you and seems to head off towards something off in the distance. And you can read the inscription on the this side of the obelisk. You see that there are a couple of etchings that you uncovered. Looks like a symbol of a scarab. And basically what it states to you is, in the heart of kindness you will find that which will protect your dearest friend. Place that upon the altar of 1,000,000 souls, and those souls will quiet, opening up the gateway for... Sorry, 1 second here. Opening up the gateway for the Master of Air to the crown.
Okay.
Real quick, sorry, back to you guys. As you guys are standing there on the your dais, kind of just hanging out, chilling, you see a lance of yellow energy just streak out from seemingly nowhere and slam onto the altar with the scarab marking on it, and kind of just light it up, like bright light, and you're just kind of like,
Holy shit!
It stays there for
What
a
is
moment, and then back to Zelbor. What do you do next?
I'm going to check out the north side.
It too has some kind of points where you kind of have to brush it aside. Do you touch the altar or the obelisk again?
I mean, sure, I don't know what happened except for a light show and words.
Sure. The second you touch the obelisk on its north facing, the light seems to just dissipate, and another yellow light bursts out from it, straight to the north side. And it says, "Only once all of these have been done can the Master of Fire step across the path to take up the crown."
So, Master of Air, take up the crown if you do the scarab. Master of Fire, take up the crown if you do all of the...
The pathway to the crown will be opened if you put the scarab. Yep. And then only once all of these have been done, which you presume the other sides will have more things for you to do.
I'm just going to keep going the direction that I'm going in.
Sure. The light beams off in directions. Nobody else is at the other locations, though. But when you touch the east side, it says, "The white arrow found in severity's heart, amidst the judgment of the deepest kind, will you find the lance which can pierce the eye that watches eternally. Once and only once this is done, can the Master of Water reach the crown."
Right. And then, south face, just...
Yeah. Returning back to the earth and the foundation and taking up into one's form, the base of the Master of Fire will allow for the Master of Earth to reach the crown.
And taking up the base of the Master of Fire?
Taking up the base of the Master of Fire. And Arcana-wise, we've already discussed this a couple of times. Base or base humoristic element for you would be Yellow Vial.
Right. Okay, don't really feel like there's much else I can do here, so I'm going to keep traveling north.
Okay. As you kind of head north, flames just start bursting about, and you see a form that you've seen in your visions before. The vision of Cinderspray kind of steps out to meet you, and it says, "You've read it, you've seen it, and you still wish to test me? Only then may they pass. You must all come at once, or you will all die. Pray to your gods as you wish. If you wish to progress, burn." And it starts to just pulse with fire. What are you doing?
First of all, I'm an atheist. Second of all, see you later.
All right. You kind of feel this this kind of like when he said that, he kind of has a similar hubris in that you don't think he cares about gods either. He was kind of saying it more as a, pray to your gods now, see what that'll do kind of thing. Not so much He actually thought your gods could help you. But yeah, you dart back to the obelisk. Once there, you know that there's only one other path back to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back that way, and then I'm just gonna keep going south, see where that leads me.
When you hit Beauty and head south, it actually bars you. You cannot exit out the way you came in.
Wait, I can't like. Damn it, that's right. I can't do that. Fuck. Okay, fine. I go back to the room with the stupid pillars.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
I'm going to try going to. I'm going to try to go to understanding.
Okay. So when you do, the door opens and flames just start bursting out, and it seems impassable.
Okay, let's try the crown.
Okay. When you open it, out from the pathway comes Flames and Sindusgray again, and he kind of slams his like just fiery form onto the earth and kind of rises up to look at you and says, "I told you once, Spawn, that you cannot enter this place." It kind of lashes out towards you.
I didn't know this is where that was going.
What do you wish to do in response? Are you kind of like, ah?
I'm just going to go out and try like close that door if I can and try some.
Okay, you're exiting out the way that you came. Okay.
Well, wait. Severity wasn't the way that I came. Beauty was the way that I came.
Oh, you're going to Severity then. Yeah, when you
Yeah,
open
I want to just try all the doors and see if
Severity gives you hot mess of fire. You can't go through that way. It seems that in this place, the only exits that you have are Beauty and the way you came in, which you know leads back to the Kraken, which is you don't know what it's marked as. Actually, make a perception check.
Okay, guys, Zelbor's going to fail another roll.
That's all right. He'll be good.
Or not.
As you're moving out the south exit, the way you came in, you notice that above the door, there's a word and a marking. The marking is a large eye, circular and similar to the Kraken's eye, and beneath it, it says Eternity.
Okay, so... Huh. Eternity. Well, I'm going to go that way.
All right.
Yeah.
You kind of head back that way, and yeah, you're holding the scarab. You know, you have the armor. You walk into the temple. The Kraken doesn't rise up out of the water.
What does my true sight tell me in terms of the other path?
Oh, perfect. Smart. The other paths. The path that Malik went down, you cannot exit through. The path that you entered in through, you obviously can pass through. And then the other pathway seems to have kind of like a blackish color to it. And it seems that that's one you can actually go through, you think.
Oh.
You're not sure why. It
So
seems to have kind of a yellow glint to it now.
I'm going to go through that one. Sure.
Sure. All right, you head on down, and you see a hill. On the top of that hill is a gold dragon.
Oh, fuck, am I going to have to fight a gold dragon after this?
He kind of looks to you, and he says to you, "Hail," as you enter onto the scene.
Sup? I'm Zelbor. Have you seen anyone that's either like really obnoxious elf or this really obnoxious but kind of brave half elf or this really fishy person, like literally a fish person?
Master of Fire, I of course must answer your questions, and I will tell you that I have seen an elf, a brave elf who stood against me in my rage and fury, and was able to stand tall instead of cower in fear. As you kind of like look at him and stand on the grass, you realize that the grass is not grass. Your true sight shows you that you're standing on a mountain of wealth. The grass appears to be blades of true emerald that kind of break and flick underneath your footsteps, like shavings of emerald.
Neat.
All right. He says, if you wish to know which way the elf went, it points north, but you cannot follow.
Okay, do you have any idea where he ended up and if there's some way I can get there?
I actually lied to you a while ago, and I apologize.
I did not meet the dragon, did I?
No, you meet the dragon. Just when we were in the place with the 6 pillars, there was actually one of the pillars that you would have been able to walk down.
Ah, you.
Besides, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
It led to you getting to the knowledge circle, so it's fine. But he says you cannot follow. From this point, I tell you that you can return back to where the white armor is held, or you can return back to whence you came.
Right. So basically, I'm stuck, separated from my body. Good.
I can tell
is
you that your friends are currently standing on the Isle of the Scarab. They seem to be resting. It looks like your friend, the one with the Master of Water, is wounded, and so is the Master of Earth, who is now adorned in the white armor.
Oh, really? So that's like where the white gauntlet thing that was in the room with the weird fire thing set in and attacked me is.
I believe that is where he found it. You would also have seen, like, as you passed by those fire things, there was a suit of armor on the ground. It was Hawk's old armor.
Well,
Grab
yeah,
it.
he wasn't paying attention as much to the armor on the ground as much as
The
making
fire
sure
elementals.
fire things didn't jump him. Right. Good. Okay. Huh.
You do
is there a
know,
way I could get a message to my friends?
unfortunately,
Oh,
unless you
right.
have some form of spell that you can cast, Master of Fire, you cannot. But I will tell you this, that if you show fear in front of these creatures, you do so for no reason. The Master of Fire, as he stands before me, holds the scarab of protection. Nothing here can harm you.
Right. It did say something about protection.
to
Okay,
know.
cool. I'm going to go back and sit with the fire guys and get the white gauntlet thing, because I don't know why Hawk left part of it
You would have
behind.
noticed that it melted, actually, when you walked through
Oh,
that
it
back
did?
door. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, well.
That
fuck
sucks.
then. I'm just going to go back to the fire element things. Until then, it was cool meeting you, dragon guy.
You should
Hope
be
things work
able.
out here.
You should be able to go from there, the Isle of Beauty, to the Isle of Understanding.
I will try that.
It nods. You leave, and the others are just still sitting there resting. It's been about an hour and a half.
Sweet.
We're just going to wait for Zelbor.
We're waiting for Zelbor. Eventually, everybody comes through here.
Fair enough. Zel, you walk to.
25 years later.
You walk back to the
Yeah.
fire elementals. There they burn. You would know that based on.
John, you just
Lost
cut
you
out.
again.
Oh, hi.
I heard fire elementals.
The fire elementals, and then you would know that from this point, based on what you can see in True Seeing, that the north right or the right top rightmost pillar is something you can use.
Right, so I'll do that.
Okay, and that would lead you to. That would lead you here. You see, as you kind of come up to the island, Hawk isn't really there. You see a smaller island than some of the other ones you've seen, but in the center of it is a very large well, or fountain rather. The fountain has a statue. The water seems to have copper coins in it. There are 3 trees. There's a path to the north that is unmarked. There's 2 paths on the southeast side. One looks like the bridge of it is crumbly a bit.
Okay, here's a question for you. When casting something like dang it. The only thing that I'd have that work is like if I try to cast Disintegrate and write something in the ground with it, like Zelbor was here. Is that possible?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to just write Zelbor was here, like in the
dirt.
Yeah, in the dirt. Just
Okay. In big letters, Zelbor was here. And it stays.
and
it
then-
doesn't magically go away or anything crazy. It seems to hold. Perfect. Good idea. Your true sight tells you that the trees seem to have magical auras around them, and they seem to be magical themselves. The magic on the outside seems to be kind of a abjuration, but mixed with conjuration. It seems that they're basically keeping in water and moisture, keeping the trees alive. The trees themselves seem to have some sort of divination magic glowing throughout their stems. The water in the fountain seems to have magic present, and the statue at the fountain's head seems to also have magic as well. The water is not magical, though. Let me repeat that. It itself is not magic, but there's a sheen surface on the top of it that seems to be magic, and it seems to be a triggering effect.
Cool. I'm going to explore the 2 other paths that are there and see
Okay.
them.
So there's actually 3 paths. One is unmarked, that's on the north side. Then there are 2 on the bottom, or the southeast side. One is crumbly and kind of falling away. The other is normal.
And I approach the one that crumbles. Does it do the same thing it did with Hawk?
It starts to crumble, but as it crumbles for you, at the end point where it falls away, Sindus Gray appears again and says, "This is not your path."
I love that.
And it kind of
Oh
lashes.
my gosh, will you stop
It
following me? I know I'm awesome, but
It lashes out at you as it disappears. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. More than perfect. So
you only take 100 points of
Yes!
damage, and you're now unconscious.
half and half of that. So 16 or 17 or 16.
Holy crap!
Half of 16 is 8. You take 8 fire damage.
6,
And you
8,
cast Cure Wounds on yourself
10.
a couple
I
times.
cast Healing Word on myself as I'm walking around.
You're like,
It's gone.
fuck.
You're so broken,
Cure,
so broken.
Fuck. Cure.
Can I go through either of the other paths besides the crumbly?
Yeah, they seem to be fine. Do me a favor before you leave, though. Just make me a good old-fashioned bardic knowledge check. Intelligence.
Bardic knowledge check.
Just intelligence. Yeah, okay. Which path do you want to go to? You didn't get it. North or south?
I'm going to take a look at north.
Okay.
I'm guessing that was to tell that the statue looked like Hawk.
Yeah, well, you caught that, actually. But no.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, so we're on understanding. You move towards the north path. You would see that it is...
has Sindus Gray in it, and...
No, the path is barred to you. It appears that as you kind of look at the fire, it is the other 2 paths. I should have mentioned this. I apologize. The path to the north that's unmarked, that one appears to be one for Malik. The path to the south that is near the one that breaks, the one that doesn't break, it appears to be for Hawk.
Okay, I'm just going to go back and chill with the flame dudes until something happens, because
Okay.
at least that way I'll feel like I have company.
All right, 2-hour mark for you guys. Boo, what are you doing?
So at the 2-hour mark, Boo is kind of done with this plan. You two
Yeah, it's
are
getting
going
worrisome.
to sit here and wait, but the only other place we know Zell can get to is the entrance. So I will probably backtrack my way to the entrance and wait for him there, and then I can either make my way back to you two and tell you what he says when he checks in at the main entrance, or if you come with me, then we can move forward from there. I'm not going to.
I'm not sure I like the idea of splitting up.
Then I say all 3 of us go back to the main entrance. It's the only other place we know for a fact Zell can get to.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're going back to the foundation, correct? The place where the bile was.
Yep.
You're not going all the way back to the very first one.
No,
Okay.
I meant the first island.
Perfect. You guys make it back to the Bile Island. And there you stand, hanging out. All right, we'll get back to you.
Anyway, flame guys, what do you exactly eat anyway?
They don't seem to respond. They are kind of making noises now that you're talking to them in reply. But oh wait, you cast tongues.
Yeah, I cast tongues on myself, so
They,
I actually might get an answer from them.
They say, "We eat nothing. We require no sustenance. We are the guardians of this world."
John, you just cut out again.
They say, "We are the guardians of this world. We do not require sustenance."
So you basically just protect it from whatever walks through, except for whatever's carrying the scarab thing, right?
Correct.
Is there any way you could like not attack other things that are in here?
That is not our function, Master of Fire. We are determined to destroy the one in the white armor, and we are also determined to, if any attempt to pass through to the knowledge beyond, and they kind of gesture towards the door you entered through, we are to terminate them.
Why do they hate me?
So here's a question: like, how easy is it to defeat you guys if one were to try?
Nah, I mean, it's pretty tough. We have about 104 hit points apiece.
I'm just going to start disintegrating them.
If you cast spells to keep blowing them up, they eventually die. And they're all gone.
Nice. Wow, you're so OP. I love it.
I thought you were going to say they respawn after they all die
That
anyways.
would have been so. That would have been so annoying. It's like, oh, they're all gone. Oh.
Ready for fun?
Sure.
You start casting the spells, and as you're marching along, Hawk, you notice that your armor starts to melt all about your body. And
No!
by the time you make it back to Bile Island, your armor is nothing. It's gone. Zell, as you kind of stand there on the dais,
I'm naked.
as you stand there on the dais, well, you're still wearing your undergarments, but as you kind of like stand there on the dais, you see the white armor start to manifest, just freezing on the back wall again, and it takes its full form. The white armor stands there on the wall, and
That's so
Hawk's
fucked up.
armor stands there or lays there on the floor near your feet.
I'm just going to stare at the one on the wall, then stare at the armor on the floor, and be like, "Well, shit."
They die. No.
Okay.
Hope he wasn't fighting anyone.
My chainmail's looking pretty sweet now, isn't it, Hawk?
I want something now.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I didn't get any spells ready, like Shield of Faith. I don't have that ready.
That's all right. Zell's giving me that black armor.
You kind of
I'm
feel
getting that black armor.
Hawk. You
No,
kind
I'll go
of
get the
feel
white armor again.
you kind of feel this strange sensation kind of come over you, like almost like a blushing sense, but it's not from you; it's from the sword.
Okay.
All right.
It feels awkward seeing your PP.
He's wearing,
No, he's wearing underwear.
I know. I
and
know.
his Under Armour.
You
Like,
just wanted to say it.
I'm just saying, she's kind of
Right, but this is the first time he's without codpiece, and she's like, "Oh, that's really what was under there." Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's so bad.
It's like a watermelon.
Well, now you can't get anywhere like you used to be able to. That's kind of a bummer. So,
Well, shit.
Oh, I apologize. I totally allowed for things to happen that shouldn't have been able to happen. Zelvor,
like that armor?
no. Hawk and Boo, you're able to head south the way you came. Malik, you are not. You have two options for you once you're on the wisdom. You can go back the way you came, which was back to Beauty, or you can go to the other path, it appears. Boo tells you there are two paths that you can leave out of. The path that Hawk went down to the weird fountain, or the path back to where you came from, the place where the fire elementals were.
Oh gosh, that would be the last place I'd want to go. So realistically, I'd probably either could I go back and stay at that temple with the scarabs?
That's
did
where you,
Hawk tell us about how when he backed up on a trail, he went back to the main chamber?
Sure. I mean, if we were sitting together for hours, I would imagine I would tell
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Boo would have said to Mel before we left, "Hey, you can't go down this way, but there's a small possibility if you try just going backwards, you might pop up in the main chamber," because that's what happened to Hawk.
All right, I'll try that.
Okay. You head back to the place where the fire elementals were. This is taking you a bit more time because you got 30 minutes past before you decide to opt to do something. Zell, you're kind of sitting there at the fire elementals, burning them apart. And while that's happening, Mel is finally coming to decide to come to you. By the time you finished eliminating the fire elementals, Hawk has made it back to the Foundation with Boo, but he is now armorless, and it doesn't appear that he has the ability to traverse the paths he had been able to.
He looks a
before.
little sad.
He looks super sad. But as you finish that and kind of like, haha, you see
Oh, shit.
you see Malik come up the path to you.
Oh, hey, Malik.
Zell, you made
Yes.
it. I knew you made it.
I just sort of like hand him the scarab. Take this, and There's apparently an altar somewhere that you can put it on. I don't know.
Oh, I did. I saw this altar. We were waiting for you, but somehow you didn't show up, which was really strange.
I couldn't get to an altar. Something said that I had to give someone that I trusted to put in an altar. So.
Oh, well, thank you. You know what I need to do now? I need
No.
to put on this white suit of armor because
There is a white suit of
really
armor.
awesome on me.
Oh, you guys suck.
Do
You
you?
guys suck.
Do you?
What do you mean?
I'd
It's
like to-
stitched here. I can't
like to-
carry this and the other armor, so I'm going to put this on and then carry your armor.
Malik, I'd like to point
All
out
right.
that currently we have a naked hawk around here somewhere. I don't know how he is.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
cod piece
Mel.
is on the ground. You know how important that cod piece is.
Mel, do you reach to grab the suit of white armor and pull it off and start to attach it?
Yeah, I'm going to try to.
Okay. Second, you
No.
grab like a pauldron or a gauntlet or a greave and kind of move it toward your body to affix it. It snaps off of you and slams back onto the wolf.
No! I wanted to play White Knight and Black Knight with you, man. We were going to be like, I am your father. But now we can't do that.
That's so funny.
This is so lame. All right,
well, do you want
fine.
to at least take Hawk's armor to wherever he is? Because
Yes,
Don't
I
think I
do.
can go
You can
there.
take the cod piece. I will take the rest of his armor.
no, the cod piece goes with the armor.
The indignity of it all.
Mel, you kind of bag up the armor, grab it, or give him the scarab. Zell, you notice something the second you transfer it over to Mel. When it enters into his hand, its aura changes. It seems now that it's kind of set to him.
Oh, very cool, man. This thing seems to like it with me. Thanks. Is it something that actually has a string where I could wear it around my neck or whatever?
No.
No? Okay, well, I'll just put it in my
Okay. You head back
little
down the path
pouch.
that you came in, or the path you know leads back to where you basically went, not down south. Or do you head?
Gonna chill here.
Do you head south?
Up that way.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I guess but the thing is, Zell can only go certain places.
All right, so can you.
Yeah, I
But-
can only go in this one.
Yep. So you
Or
go.
we could all go back.
You go in that one, and you would head back towards the scarab place.
Sweet, I'll head there then.
Okay.
I'll be like, I'll try to open this scarab thing. I
What-
know we can only go through certain places, and I'll see you later. If I catch up with Hawk. Wait, I think if you go backwards, you can get the Hawk, right?
Mm,
Yeah.
you can
I
try.
don't know.
But you would be able to see that the path south, the one that you came up, once you've got up it and turned and look back, you see that its color has changed. It's no longer accessible to you guys. It seems that no matter how you enter this specific one, you enter from the south, but it seems that you can only exit out the south if you are Hawk.
Okay. All right, in that case, I'm sure Boo isn't really here. He's back
You-
where he was before.
Mel, you make it back to the scarabs.
Right.
Boo's not really there, and neither is Hawk.
Right, he's not really there. I would take the scarab-shaped thing, and I would say a little prayer to Nermode, because, you know, she's the bomb. And then I would put it in there.
Okay. The second you do, you hear just these weird sounds, and it sounds like a million of these sounds are kind of popping up, and you kind of like
Oh shit!
hear the chittering of
Oh.
the sounds beneath you kind of stop. And once you've done this, and you kind of everything kind of settles, you notice that a form starts to kind of manifest over the grate in the center of the chamber. It seems like it's completely made out of just ash and dust.
I would say,
Before you even
Ew.
open your mouth, it kind of booms out at you. The four pillars, the flames atop, spark up hot and white, and it says, "You are not the master of air. You will not be allowed entry. You will not be allowed challenge." And the form drops back into the
Ooh,
pit.
challenge.
The scarab remains seated where it's at, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening.
That's you, Boo.
whoa, can I get it out of there?
Doesn't pull out.
Oh, I'll just leave it in there then. All right. All right. Yeah, that would be Boo. So I could play the waiting game again. Hang out here. Nope.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
go
ahead and
somewhere.
move on to Boo and Hawk though. You guys are back at the.
All right.
Flute solo.
This
the
whole man.
You're back at the bile pit, and you would know from being here that Hawk, without the armor, you can go north, and that is it. And Boo, you would know that you can return to the east. You would know that those paths are the same backwards, so you can only come back down the east path, and Hawk was only able to follow along with you because he had the armor up until that point.
Wait, so we can't go in the same direction, and I have 0 armor. Is that right?
You have no armor at all, yeah.
I'm just gonna sit down and cry.
Hawk, you can
It's
go.
okay. It's okay. Add your dexterity. That's your new armor class.
Oh,
Plus
so,
10
right.
plus your dexterity.
so what is he at 9 now?
Was it 10 plus dexterity?
Yeah.
12.
Oh, that's right. You're an elf. I remember you having like
Oh,
a 10 or a
no.
9. Anywho, you would know that those are the options that you have available to you. Or you
I'm
can
kind of hoping Mel is smart enough to just keep making his way back here eventually. So I'm gonna give him another 2 hours. Like, done.
Okay.
But like, I have to have faith that in the next 2 hours he can make it back down this path. And if not, then I can only go forward again. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like, I'm stuck on a railroad.
I'm just sort of sitting there composing a song.
Because like his armor may have gone back to where his armor was, but like I'm stuck on a railroad.
Right.
Sitting on my laurels.
You
Waiting
would
for some people.
see nothing happen for a while. Then we'll go back over to Malik. You said you were going to do something.
Yeah, I'll try to head backwards to get back to the entrance because I know those guys are down there.
So from wisdom, you have 2 options that appear to be available to you. The other 2, as you kind of approach them, ignite with flame, or one ignites with flame, and the other one is the door on the black wall that you can't enter into. But there appears to be one that's not one you walk down. You would lead yourself to
Ooh, I'll have to
a
go back to that other
fountain.
Yay!
I haven't seen this yet.
I've described this twice, so if you
You know what
haven't,
I'm gonna
Closer.
John,
No, you guys know what I have to do, don't you?
Throw a penny in.
No, I have to turn into a fish and swim around in it. It's just too damn tempting to not to.
yeah, it's deep enough for you to get in and kind of swim around in, and it feels very
Yeah.
great on your skin. It feels really good.
Oh, this takes years off your appearance, guys. Let's swim around for a little while. Check it all. I'll check it all out.
There are a
You know,
bunch
like
of pennies at the bottom of this place, or a fountain. There's the 3 trees which have these weird blue auras around them, and there's the statue that looks like Hawk.
All right. Well, the statue, yeah, that's interesting. I'm not going to grab the pennies because you got to leave those. Somebody made a wish or whatever. I just look at the trees real quick and then I'd head out. I think I'm meant to go on this path right over here.
There's a crumbling path. If you walk over to it, it falls away out from underneath you, and you hear a voice come from the fountain, and it says, "Wayfinder." It seems to be calling to you.
Yes. Ooh. Yes.
You cannot go that path alone.
Do I need my best friend?
Water and earth, the materials of the plane,
Okay.
must travel together hand in hand.
What if I have
2 of
Earth's
us.
armor? That's not good enough, is it?
It doesn't really reply to your dumb question. I mean, to your question. To your
Okay.
question.
All right,
Ouch.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right, I'll head up this way then. Now I know where I need to
Okay.
go.
You
With
would
Boo
note
and with
that this path is barred to you. The only points that don't ignite in flame are the crumbling path, but it falls away, and the path that you came down.
all right, I'll have to go back that way then.
You don't do anything else at this place?
Well, what else would I do?
There are 3 trees, and there's a fountain
Yeah,
with coins in it.
I know. I don't want to take the coins because I feel like they would be bad luck to do that. Would I know anything religion-wise?
Make
like
an intelligence religion check.
I might know something. We shall see. You know what, guys? I haven't used my luck yet either.
Doesn't seem to be. If you're using luck,
Yeah, I'm gonna use luck. Do I re-roll then?
reroll it. Yeah.
That could have been my life right there, guys. So I hope I roll good. Yeah.
Really good.
Nice.
So you would
Oh,
know
23.
from hanging out in Stormloft and dealing with a whole bunch of other religions that some religious places have fountains smaller than this one, but fountains where people will throw their tithe into the water to basically act as an offering to the god or to the power.
Oh shit! I haven't tithed yet. Guess what though? It's easy to tithe 10% of when you have hardly anything. So I will go and look what I have in my pocket. Holy shit! I have 0 gold. I have absolutely nothing. All right, I will put something in there that's precious to me. Holy shit! I hate to do it. Guess what I'm throwing in there?
You're throwing in there.
Spyglass.
Picture of
And
Mel.
they
Picture
ma-
of
No,
Zell.
the spyglass. That thing kicks
the spyglass.
ass.
This thing is really precious to you. You
Yeah, I love that thing.
toss it into the water. The second it hits, you see this kind of blue sheen kind of spark across the surface of the water. The blue sheen around the trees kind of like pulse, and you can kind of just hear them kind of making a tinkling kind of sound coming from the trees. What do you do?
Ooh, I would go look at the trees because
Okay.
that seems like a signal or something.
As you
I would
approach the
say-
closest tree, you hear it start to kind of sing, and as you kind of get closer to it, it kind of stops singing and speaks directly to you. It says, "Master of Water, you have tithed something that is precious to you, but you must tithe the items that are of most importance to us. We are knowledge, we are truth, we are..." And then all three, you can hear them all speak towards the center of the island, understanding. And as they speak that, they say, "We are one, yet we are three. There are 3 gifts that will be bestowed upon you, Master of Water, and they must be placed here before you and the Master of Earth can progress to the crown."
Thank you. Is it speaking in Common or Elvish?
You don't know what it's speaking in. In actuality, it sounds like it's speaking to you in your mind, but
In my mind.
the voice that it sounds like it's speaking in is Dren's.
Okay, sweet. I like this. I would say, is my offering not what? Would you want me to remove my offering?
The
if
offering
don't
you
want it?
granted us has allowed us to speak to you, Master of Water.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure it wasn't something that you wanted removed because you didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like it was befouling your water or anything.
I can tell you of the item that I wish to see returned to the water. The bow
Yes.
of white
Oh,
gleaming ice must be returned to the water once the arrow has been loosed.
Okay, and then I would say thank you. I will do that, and then I would move up to their tree and ask, "What would you like to see me?"
The armor of white gleaming ice must be returned, worn by the Master of Earth and bestowed as a gift to the water.
Thank you. I will do that. And I'm thinking to myself, good thing I have his real armor so that he's not walking around with nothing. And then I would go to the third tree and say, what would you like me to return to the fountain as an offering?
You must return the soul stone, which you will find beneath the Kraken's hoard.
Oh, man. All right, I'm not looking forward to that. Do you happen to know any weaknesses of that Kraken?
Doesn't seem to answer, and it sounds like the tree's music and voices have gone away.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. All right. You know what Mel doesn't like? He doesn't really like to be alone. This is not fun, not as fun as with the rest of his party. All right.
Huh?
Well, in that case, I would head back the way I came with all this knowledge,
Back to the scarab,
hoping that nothing kills me
and then
we
back
lose all this knowledge.
back to Zell. And Zell, you're still there, right?
Ah, Zell.
Yeah, I'm just sort of sitting there. Again, as I said, I'm composing some of the tunes for the adventures we've had because
Okay.
that's what I do when I'm sitting and I've got nothing to do.
Okay. So it's been about an hour or so.
I barred.
I would totally tell Zell all the stuff I just found out in case I die.
So it's been about an hour and 30 minutes once he's told you everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's head back.
Sure.
We got to figure out. See, this is like one of these logic trick things where we have to work our way back. This is not my strong suit.
Zell, with your true sight, you would know you have 2 points that you can leave out of. The way that you would know leads to the knowledge, that's through the back door. And you would know that you can leave and go to one of the one, two, three. You have 3 options besides the back door. One leads to the gold dragon, and one leads to where you suppose. Actually, you wouldn't know. You've never backtracked through these ones. There are 2 other ones in the top right. Have you been to the fountain? Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I've been to the fountain.
That's the top north one. You haven't been through the middle one on the right.
No, I've been through middle one on the right. That takes me back to the temple, right?
That's right. You did go back. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, I went through all of my options while I
Okay.
was trying to figure out how to get to the scarab.
I remember now.
place.
Yep. So
So-
you would know that Splendor the dragon, knowledge the obelisk, understanding the shrine with the altars, right? Sorry, understanding the with the trees, and then kindness, the one with the temple.
All right, Malik. This is
Yes,
what we're
sir.
going to do. You stay here, because if Hawk came here and left his armor and got this armor, I assume eventually he'll come back here for his armor. I'm going to backtrack and go across the way that I found the Kraken and see if I can go back to the entrance and run into the others.
Guess what? I just saw something. Zelbor. I hand him my sack with all the armory. Are you strong enough to carry this?
No,
to him.
I am not strong enough to carry it back to him. I have a negative number in my strength.
Can we go together?
No, because
Maybe if we
this-
hold hands, we can
Hold
go
on.
down paths we're not
Hold on.
supposed to.
Zelbor, make an Arcana intelligence check. You're pretty sure Big B's hand could probably hold that armor no problem.
I know, but I'm actually strategizing here, and
All right.
Bigby's hand will last for a minute at a time.
You can keep casting it though; it's not even a problem.
That's true. But no, I just think it's a good idea because if Hawk comes back here, I want him to have the information in case I don't run into them.
Okay.
I don't want us to keep missing each other. Is basically what I'm saying. I want to make sure that someone runs into someone.
I do. It's fucking hilarious.
I know, but I'm thinking I want to make sure that someone runs into someone. So if I can't get back there fast enough, I want to make sure Malik's here so he can tell them what the shit's going on.
You want to know how to make this go a lot faster? You go to the door, you open it, you cast Dimension Door, you cast Dimension Door, you cast Dimension Door, you cast Dimension Door, you're back to the foundation.
Yeah, that was basically what I was going to do, but I
Okay.
wasn't sure if I was going to have enough time.
Fair enough.
You could take me with you.
You spend another 10
No,
minutes
I
talking
can't.
down Malik. You go through the temple, you head back through the Kraken, you get back to the foundation. In a banff of black smoke or purplish smoke, Hawk and Boo, who are just about done with their patients, sitting here doing nothing. You see Zelbor appear before you.
Oh,
Hey,
thank God.
how are you guys doing?
Goddamn time.
Jesus Christ.
How do you like the new armor? Pretty fetching, huh?
It looks just like the white armor, but black.
And Hawk's naked.
And Hawk is...
yeah.
Ish.
Malik is waiting for you with your armor. The white shining armor is back there again. Apparently, when I destroyed all the fire elementals, the armor came back. So I'd recommend against destroying the fire element. Oh, by the way, they're there to protect the armor. At least that's what they told me. I had a conversation with them.
Did you see Malik?
Yeah, Malik's waiting there with the white armor.
Did he tell you about the scarab that we're looking for?
Yeah, and I talked to the dragon, and the dragon says I can't get there, but I had a scarab item that I gave to Malik, and I think he told me he put it into the altar, and there was this air thing that said the champion of air needed to confront him, which we're pretty sure is you, Boo, so you should probably go back there and challenge him or something, I don't know.
You would see that Boo has a bow that you've never seen before, made out of white
nice bow.
metal, and he one of the arrows in his
Right.
quiver is a white arrow.
Also, there's something about the fountain wanting the bow back, I think. Malik said something about that, I don't know.
You'd also know from the obelisk it said something about the arrow as well.
Right, my notes, because I wrote that down.
And a soul stone.
The white arrow found in Severity's heart does judgment. Something about a pike and Master of Water reach the crown. I couldn't get it all down in enough time.
It said basically shoot it into the eye of eternity.
Right, shoot it into the Eye of Eternity. Oh, wait, which the Kraken's Eternity or something.
Ooh.
So I think you've got to shoot the Kraken with that arrow.
You're like Kraken? What the?
That's so awesome.
Like
Kill
you,
the Kraken.
I can't get to the Kraken.
Yet. You can't get to the Kraken yet. I think some of the paths open up after we've done things. Because the last thing says is once all of these are done, the Master of Fire can take up about a crown. There's a crown in here somewhere.
Very cool. I wish
But
I
I'd
was
imagine
there.
eventually we can get most.
I think Hawk gets the crown when Hawk and Malik go together towards wherever.
understanding. that path that crumbled.
Yeah.
And
So,
both
yeah.
of you have been there. You just have to remember how you got there.
But yeah, so you need to go and fight an elemental thing. Maybe that'll take you to the Kraken.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I know, isn't it?
At least you have armor.
Yeah, I guess Boo fucking shrugs his shoulders and like I walks off that way. Fuck it, like all right, I got a job to do. Like I'll just go that way and do the thing you said. Y'all have fucking fun. I'll see you eventually.
I go off on my own again. Bye. Do you walk to the dragon? There he sits. Do you have any questions for him? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is
Yeah.
happening? What the fuck?
I will show the dragon the bow and the arrow
He
and
says,
say, "Let go it."
he says, you have shown me your gift, and I will show you the answer to your question. And as he says this, he kind of stands up tall, and his wings kind of unfurl, and he waves his hand out for you. And you're standing up on this high hill, and you look out, and you can actually see. You can see everything. You are standing on an island. The path to the directions seem to kind of fold and bend and kind of form this strange image. Hold on a second here. This strange image. You can actually see the islands for the islands. And this, let me see if I can get it right so I can show you it. Because you have true sight. So I just want to make sure.
I do.
Take a screenshot of it and send it to all of us.
It's too easy. Y'all gotta get that on your own.
Ah, son of a bitch.
This is my reward for doing all this shit by myself.
Oh,
Which you love, by the
Zelda
way,
wasn't
which
doing
you
shit
love.
by himself either.
And I appreciate this, John.
Do you see the map?
I do.
Point.
Fuck yeah, that's cool as shit.
So another thing you can see as he clears the way is that the path directly to the east. It's not directly to the east. The way you're seeing it, it seems that the paths kind of warp, but you're looking at them and they kind of jaunt and turn and etch, but they kind of form straight lines to you. You're seeing it as it is, not as it bends. But what you can see for sure is that you're looking down at some of the islands instead of directly at the sides of them, and you can see that there is a strange looking temple that you're looking down straight on that has a squarish shape. It has kind of a hydra looking, or not hydra, sorry, a kraken looking shape to it, and its eye seems to be hollowed out. It's about 1,000 feet away from you.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, I can hit that.
Take an attack.
It's only
Are
1,000
you
feet. What the hell?
What arrow are you using?
I'm using the white arrow from the oath bow.
As you kind of do so, you see the dragon just kind of smiling. Clear-eyed, the amulet truly is a master of the sight. Take your shot. And as you kind of knock the arrow in the bow, it just feels fucking right. Like, you don't know what it is. It just feels like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And you aim, and you just feel it. It's not even like a situation where you feel like there's a skill necessary. You know you are the skill. You take the shot, and you see the arrow whistle by. Those of you that are on the
Get double ones.
Those are you that are on the foundation, you see a comet streak out across over top of you. This white comet just appear above you and just kind of sail from west to east. As it does so, Boo, you see it where it truly hits, and it slams right into the eye of the temple.
You'll see just like the smallest little smirk.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
The dragon says to you, give the bow to earth or water. They will require it from this point forward. Your oath has been achieved.
I appreciate your assistance once again, my friend.
And I appreciate you freeing me from
He's
this
like
place. And as it says so, it kind of lifts up off of the ground, and the grass kind of like buffets away, revealing the coins and the like. But you see sitting underneath the dragon this strange kind of reddish stone. It flies away.
I will see if I can get a closer look at the stone.
It seems to be just like a large red, like a almost football size. Well, no, not football. That's a little too big. Like a softball sized red ruby, jagged and edged. Looks neat. Pick it up.
Yeah, I guess.
The second you do, you hear this scream, kind of like a watery scream, and you see this like kind of weird bluish color come in from the east and slam into the stone. As you kind of look at the stone closer, you see that swimming inside of the red ruby is this weird shadow that seems to be kraken shaped.
So sweet. You got a cracky Pokemon.
Boo pockets it, or dumps it in his pack.
Okay.
And I guess I'm going to turn around and head back to the Foundation and see if Malik and Hawk are still there.
Okay. And you guys have not migrated from your position, correct? You and Zell are still there?
Right.
Okay. And
At this point, Malik
Well,
has given Hawk the armor back, I guess.
But Malik's not
No,
there.
no.
Malik was
I'm not even
Malik
there.
was
Sorry,
still
not even there.
back.
not Malik.
Yeah,
That's
I
why I
told
was
you Malik
crying.
was back. Malik was back where you originally got the white armor. That's what
Right.
I told you.
It's Zelbor and Hawk at the Foundation.
Right, I'm sorry. No more not.
But Hawk, you would
No
know that the armor has returned to that first island you went to, which would be directly north if you wanted to go.
Yep.
Leaving Zelbor to wait here for you.
Is that the one with the
Fire
with
elementals.
the elementals?
Mhm.
So wait, I would be going to the to get the armor from the fire elementals with no armor. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Who would tell you they're dead?
Hold up. Yeah, I told you the elementals are dead. I think when I killed them, it called the armor back. So don't
Okay,
kill
okay.
the elementals. That's what I
Okay,
told you.
okay.
Are you going to wait to move with your team, or are you going to go by yourself?
Well, not all the team can move,
I
right?
also told
Right.
you that Malik was still at the spot. So it will be you and Malik there.
But he killed me. He forgot to tell you that.
Okay. So if you're heading back that way, we'll go ahead and cut to you real quick. You make your way down that path, and you see the very familiar sight of Beauty, the fireplace with the armor. The armor has returned to the wall.
Great.
And Malik is sitting there near a pile of armor,
I
which
brought
is
your armor.
it's in a bag.
So wait, which armor is in the bag? The white armor or his regular armor?
You can't take the white armor off the wall.
Yeah, it's your
okay.
armor.
Can you hold that for me, please?
Sure.
Or can I put it in my own bag?
That would be
Sure.
great.
Let's do
Especially
that.
this-
I'll do that.
Especially this cod piece. It's embarrassing to carry this around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say a word. So in any case, I'll put on the white armor.
Yeah,
Okay.
put on the white armor.
Immediately after the armor has been donned, the 6 pillars start pulsing, and
Wait.
the
Wait,
ground
I have a
quakes.
good idea for once. I have to interrupt you.
I'm gonna
'cause I have
take
a
the
good
armor
idea.
off. Oh wait, can I take the armor off without putting it on? Take it off the wall?
So if you take the armor off and just kind of hold it off to the side and wait, it snaps back to the wall after a minute or so.
I got an idea. I don't
Okay,
know if
what's
this
the
will work,
idea?
But it might be worth trying. Try putting your normal armor on, and then try putting the white armor on over it, like it's ice, right? Maybe it'll go bloop, and then you'll have both friggin' sets of armor on. It'll be awesome.
You're dressing in layers. That'll work.
Yeah, you're
Boo.
dressing in layers.
Boo,
Do
you
it,
return
try it,
back to the
man.
Foundation. Only Zell is there.
What's the worst that could happen?
Cutting from you two.
This is brilliant.
It might actually work.
Zelmar,
So
Boo
crazy.
arrives. Zach, do you need to do a break real quick for the doggo?
Nah, she already went in the corner of the room. We're probably
Oh.
good for another half an hour.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That's good.
Yeah, that's why I've been off camera every now and then. 'Cause
Clean
I
it
was
up.
like, I've been using some stain remover to make sure it doesn't.
Smart.
Yeah, if you address it quick, it's not a big deal.
There's Zelbor. He's hanging out
Yeah.
by himself. What you tell him about how awesome you are?
No, I will just hand him the bow and say the deed is done.
The second
This-
Like-
either Hawk or Malik.
The second he tries to grab the bow, Zelbor, go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Wait, he has true sight on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he can see that. He can say that it's magic. He can't see what it is.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't
he
see what the
can't see
magic is. I fail. Oh, I love this. It's a 1 and a 20, and I take the 1.
Anybody have
Good thing you
inspiration?
leave that inspiration.
Oh, wait. No, wait, hold on.
You spent it.
No. I am a bard though, and I can inspire myself with my own bardic inspiration die at this.
It's not going to help that too, buddy.
I was worth a shot. It's all I had.
I know it's not going to help that too. The second you touch the bow's handle, you feel it kind of
You
pulse. You feel it kind of pulse from you, and it throws you back a good 10 or so feet. You fall into the yellow vial and away from him. You're just covered in sick.
That's gross.
And of course, Cardiff's gone with prestidigitation.
Boo, you kind of recall as this happens, he told you to specifically give it to the Master of Earth or the Master of Water.
Yeah, he didn't say it'll kill anyone else who touches it, though. You know what I mean? Like, I figured he could just do the pass off for me, so instead, I'm just gonna drop the bow at his feet and say, it's for Malik or Hawk, I promise.
No.
What am I going to do with this now?
Isel, you would know that you can't pick it up.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, what am I going to do with this now? Like,
You stand here and wait for Hawk or Malik to come back for it.
I can literally teleport over to where Hawk and Malik are in like 2 minutes and tell Hawk to come back here and get it from you.
You do what you feel is best, my friend. I'm going this way.
Do you start
Anyway.
heading up the path?
I'm just going to stand there and be like, what an asshole.
Okay, so what an asshole. Boo, as you're
Good job.
as you're walking
I
down
think-
the path, you kind of like feel, like just, awesome. You pull your regular bow off and kind of saddle it and walk past the dragon heading down your path. You move back to where you acquired the bow. Place is still calm. You walk past that and head towards the scarab's altar. We'll cut to you in a second. Hawk, you realize that if you don the armor, it will resummon the flame elementals. And you guys are kind of trying to figure out what to do about that. You would know that you left Zelbor back, so when it comes to Arcana, it may be wise to address the question to him. You know that Malik would not be able to follow you down the south path.
So I'll go back down the south path.
You see,
Oh, I was going to say, as soon as Boo leaves, I start teleporting back to where they are.
well, okay, so you're trying to get to Beauty. You would know.
Yep.
Let's see. Do you know what steps you have to take to get there, or do you?
I have to go to the Kraken, go north, go to the room with the pillars, say beauty, step through there.
Got it. Smart.
Can you grab the armor and teleport back?
I don't have the armor.
Well, when you get to the same place as us, though.
You appear, Hawk. You were heading south as he did that to go find Zelbor. When you get there, you see that lying on the ground in the center of the paths is a white bow.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This is such a.
Zelbor, you appear shortly after Hawk left. and you
Hawk,
see
Malik.
The Four Stooges.
No Hawk.
Malik, where'd Hawk go?
He stomped off. He went that
You pick
away.
up the bow. You head right back the way you came, Hawk.
Yeah, I had.
I
right
go
back the way I
back to
came.
meet up with Hawk back in the main.
Stop it, will you? You're just doing this to
no.
annoy me now.
It takes a while for Malik to tell you where Hawk went.
Thanks,
'cause
Malik.
He takes a second to kind of puzzle it out. And Malik's always been kind of a long-winded gentleman. By the time he actually tells you where he went and kind of figures out where he goes, and you're about to bamp off, you see Hawk walking up the path.
Oh,
Damn it,
Jesus.
John! You're ruining my fun.
I know, but you're also, I would think it's fun, but look at the other two. They were so sad.
Nice.
Okay.
What an asshole.
So, you all three are at Beauty. You would know that if you take the armor off, the flame elementals would come back. You would also know that the flame elementals didn't appear to assault you, but that was when you had the scarab. So,
So, you're safe. So the scarab protects him, so he could take off the armor.
You didn't
and
have the scarab, though.
No,
No, the scarab is not.
in the
The
altar.
scarab is. It's now stuck in the altar.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we no longer have said scarab.
I say what we do is you put it on and then we run. And let
No,
us-
I have a better idea. Hawk, grab the armor really quickly,
And then
and just do what I'm saying. Trust me.
I don't like the sound of this.
From
Just do what I'm saying. Trust me.
real quick,
Fine, I'll
wait.
do it. I'll do it.
from experimentation,
Alright.
you would know that if you're not picking up the armor and immediately putting it on, it's going to snap back to the wall after a minute or so, anyways.
So I'm gonna. My own
So he
armor
has
is
to
in
put it
is in
on.
my sack. I
John,
will.
as soon as he has all of the
Mhm.
spell,
You're going to cast what?
as soon as he has the armor on, I'm going to cast this spell
Okay, on Hawk.
on Hawk.
Okay. Yeah, when you cast the spell on Hawk, he has the armor on. The flame elementals do rise up out of the pillars again. But once they kind of enter into the area, they all look to Zelbor and they all kneel again.
Nice.
Hawk,
You
you're
can
safe
push
for
it.
now. Go somewhere.
So can we go back south where the bow is, right?
You already
I
picked
thought
it
you
up.
picked up.
Oh, I picked it
Yeah,
up.
you already
Okay.
picked up the bow. I think you need to go to a fountain. I don't know how you get there.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I know. So,
So then come on with.
All right, you guys do that. I'm going to chill here with these
You need
guys
to
for
bring
right
the
now.
bow, Malik.
Okay.
The bow is for you to bring. I bring the armor.
Malik, you stay
Alright.
at Beauty, and as you wait, Hawk, you head to.
Wait.
You guys are heading down.
Malik and Hawk are going together.
Yeah,
we can't go through the same path.
you
though,
can
we?
go
We
through the
can't.
same path because you can both go north to
Oh.
Wisdom, where the scarab was,
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
he's got the armor on now, so he can
Yeah.
go wherever he wants.
and you do so. You make it there about the same time as Boo arrives on the scene. Boo, before they actually step foot there, you see a form kind of manifest at that center grate. Bear with me here. That
I think
was,
this is where you fight, Boo.
Oh, come on, Boo.
and
Oh man, I've done so good so
Mortal
far.
Kombat!
actually,
We'll see.
Get ready to rumble.
I just saw the time. Here, I'm gonna do one of those beautiful. Hold on. I got this.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold
Nope.
on a second. Hold on.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Mortal Kombat!
So, Boo, you actually arrive on the scene before they do. When you do, a form kind of manifests over the grate in the center of the chamber, and as it does so, it says, Master of Air, the path is sealed to you. If you wish to achieve entrance to it and the crown, you must defeat me. And as it says that, it starts to take form, and it seems to be covered with this scale armor, whatever this shape is, as it starts to manifest. The scale armor appears to be made out of the backs of scarab beetles, and when it finally takes its shape, it pulls open a helmet that seems to be made out of like scarab beetles, like bits and like a kabuto mask kind of thing, like this kind of thing. It pulls that off, and when it does so, you see that underneath there's an elf that looks exactly like you, and it kind of
Evil twin.
pulls that away and like reaches its hand out like it has a bow, but it has no bow. The two of you see it appear and start to threaten, and Boo, you kind of get ready to fight, and it's 10:30. You guys, I love you. I'm gonna get that fight's gonna be the startup for next session. But here we go. Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna have to be it. There's so much more. I can't stay up.
No,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay. We'll call it. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream. I gotta remember how that works. Hold on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Twitter and on Facebook and on Twitch and all of the things. And I'm a whore. Okay. Stop stream.